Chapter 22:15. Beat them up together? Beat Su Chuanxiu, the marquis of the divine Yang race, and Yu Huaxue, the goddess of the Yu race. The divine Yang race youths outside the floating cloud pagoda were all furious because they had never seen such an arrogant person. Su Chuanxiu and Yu Huaxue exchanged glances, frowned, and shook their heads. Do you know the divine Yang race and the divine moon race? You ignorant and arrogant thing. Come out if you have the guts. A divine Yang race youth shouted angrily. Whether you are from the divine dog race or the divine cat race, as long as you provoke me, I will not give you any face. Qinyan said coldly. You say I am arrogant? The arrogant one is obviously that bastard kneeling outside. This pagoda is mine. I did not sell it to him, so he attacked my pagoda. I gave him a chance, and he still did not apologize. Su Chuanxiu saw that the others were about to speak and shouted, That's enough. We were indeed in the wrong first. Yu Huaxue looked at Yang Shaoquan and said in a low voice, You are indeed in the wrong. Yang Shaoquan was being blamed by a beauty and became even angrier. Coupled with the fact that he was being tortured, he shouted, Bastard inside, come out if you have the guts. You are just a profound god. You only dare to spout nonsense inside. Quan, that's enough. Quickly apologize to him. Su Chuanxiu said angrily. Master, we are from the divine Yang race. That guy does not know the strength of the primordial races at all. The divine Yang race is one of the strongest races among the primordial races. With our overall strength, we can do whatever we want in the divine wilderness. Yang Shaoquan said. Another middle-aged man from the divine Yang race said, This pagoda is a good antique. Letting him sell it to us is already giving him face. Otherwise, we can just take it away, and he can't do anything to us. Su Chuanxiu's face suddenly turned cold and full of majesty. He shouted angrily, You bunch of arrogant fellows have never suffered a big loss before. Do you really think that in the divine wilderness, the primordial races are the strongest? Of course. Yang Shaoquan said arrogantly, The divine Yang race and the divine moon race have joined forces. What is there to be afraid of? Yu Huaxue shook her head and sighed. This is where you are wrong. The primordial chaos race, divine sword race, divine star race, they're all strong enough, right? But you should have heard about what kind of losses they suffered in the previous period of time. Also, do you think the divine sky clan is stronger than the divine sky clan? Yang Shaoquan and the others immediately fell silent. On the day of the birth of the myriad heavens' divine sword, those powerful clans suffered heavy losses. In particular, the deaths of Marquis Shi and his son were the most unbelievable to them. It wasn't just Marquis Shi. Many other marquises, viscounts, and barons have been beaten to death on the spot. Yu Huaxue continued, You should all be familiar with Shen Ruoming, right? Even I might not be able to defeat Shen Ruoming, but he suffered a crushing defeat. Marquis Chong Hao of the Divine Sky Clan was scolded as a watchdog by the Nine Yang Palace King in front of everyone, but he didn't dare to say anything. Marquis Shi was a bit stronger than me, but he watched as his son was beaten to death in front of everyone, and he himself was killed in the end. Su Chuanxiu sighed. Yang Shaoquan was still very angry. He endured the pain and shouted, Only that Nine Yang Palace King is more powerful. However, it is impossible for there to be so many people like Nine Yang Palace King in the Divine Desolate. The bastard hiding in the pagoda is definitely not that Nine Yang Palace King. Why should we be polite to him? Quan, if you don't want to continue suffering, then quickly apologize to him. You must be sincere. Su Chuanxiu said sternly. Qinyan can now see through the hearts of these powerful race youths, because in their eyes, the people of the divine desolate can be bullied and humiliated by them. In this way, he is even more determined to seize the inheritance from beyond the heavens. If the inheritance from beyond the heavens was controlled by the powerful ancient races, the people of the divine desolate would not be able to resist them and would only become slaves in the future. Although Su Chuanxiu and Yu Huaxue are relatively open-minded, there are many people like Yang Shaoquan among the powerful ancient races. Once this kind of person controls a powerful ancient race, the consequences can be imagined. Qin Yun does not completely trust the powerful ancient races. At this moment, he also understood the heavy responsibility of the divine judge and why he was so vigilant against the powerful ancient races. It's too late to apologize now, Qin Yun said coldly. This person doesn't know how to repent. However, seeing that you, Su Chunqiu, are a decent master, I will spare his life. Yang Shaoquan said angrily, Bastard, you dare touch me? My divine Yang race's ship is in the sky, and there is a duke inside. If the duke makes a move, he will definitely tear you to pieces. If you have the guts, come out and see how we get rid of you, idiot. Qin Yun suddenly flashed and appeared in front of Yang Shaoquan. Yang Shaoquan knelt on the ground. He suddenly felt Qin Yun's terrifying might, and his heart is filled with extreme fear. Boom! Qin Yun flew up and kicked Yang Shaoquan's body. A burst of powerful Xian god power erupted. Yang Shaoquan's entire body was wrapped up by the tree vines, unable to move and unable to dodge. After being kicked like this, the life crystal in his body suddenly exploded and broke through his abdomen. I'm out, what can you do? Qin Yun put his hands behind his back. His eyes were filled with power, and his appearance was imposing as he looked at the people around him. Qin Yun knew that Yushi had arrived and had originally planned to go out. However, he found out that Yushi was actually some Supremes that the Divine Yang clan worshipped. Supremes, what the hell is this? Qin Yun was astonished. The Nine-Sun Divine Lady has this kind of status. After she finished listening, she sighed. Fortunately, you did not attack. Otherwise, you would all be dead. This, Goddess Supreme Venerable, what is there to be afraid of? Someone said unconvinced. Yushi shouted towards the floating cloud pagoda. Nine-Sun Palace King, give me some face and let this matter pass. If not for giving you face, this matter would have been over long ago. Qin Yun replied. This was indeed the case. Otherwise, he would have already killed Yang Shaoquan and the others. Su Chunqiu, Yu Huaxue, and the others' faces were immediately filled with shock. They sucked in a mouthful of cold air. The person inside the pagoda was the Nine-Sun Palace King. The Nine-Sun Palace King who caused the Divine Star race, Divine Sword race, and Primal Chaos race to suffer a great loss was actually here. Su Chunqiu and the others suddenly felt as if they had escaped a calamity. Marquis Su, how about this? You give a Nine-Sun Palace King a bloodline divine source and ask him to let your disciple go. Otherwise, your disciple will still be tortured for a period of time. Yushi said again. Give it to him, master. Quickly give it to him. Yang Shaoquan was scared to death. He is now much more clear-headed, because someone who dared to kill Marquis, she would definitely dare to kill them. Su Chunqiu also had a bloodline divine source in his hands, because if they met someone with a good foundation in the divine desolate, they would pass on a bloodline divine source and then rope that person into the divine Yang clan. Su Chunqiu promptly took out a bloodline divine source and handed it over to Yushi. After Yushi received it, she shouted, Palace King, the bloodline divine source is in my hands. Can you let him go now? Under Qin Yun's control, the tree vines binding Yang Shaoquan were finally released. Yang Shaoquan also fainted at this moment. It is good that he is still alive. Although he has been crippled, he can still cultivate again. For people who are afraid of death, living is the best. Little sister Huaxue, you should go back first. Yushi said, Sister Shi, do you know the Nine-Sun Palace King? Yu Huaxue asked in low voice. And I know him, what's wrong? Yushi said, Can you take me to see him? His inscription technique is very brilliant. I want to ask for guidance. Yu Hua requested in low voice. Chapter 22:16. Qin Yun directly and mercilessly rejected Yu Huaxue. This made the group of Divine Yang clan use outside boil with jealousy. That was the Yu clan's heavenly daughter, the disciple of the Divine Moon clan's emperor. She was like the Divine Moon clan's emperor's own daughter and could be said to be the Divine Moon clan's princess. With such an extraordinary status, even if she did not look good, she should not have rejected her because of her status. Yu Huaxue also suffered a blow. She secretly blamed herself for being too rash. When she saw that the runes that imprisoned and sealed Yang Xiaoquan were very profound, she wanted to crack it. That was why she left a bad impression on Qin Yin. She pulled Yu Huaxue and said, "Let's go. Big sister will bring you in. I will let him guide you. I am very familiar with him." When Yuxi arrived, everyone was surprised that she knew the Nine Yang Palace King. It seemed that their relationship was not bad. Hearing her say that she was familiar with Qin Yun, this immediately made people's imaginations roam. That was the Nine Yang goddess. Her status was slightly higher than Yuxi's. "Can I really?" Yu Huaxue was surprised and whispered. Yuxi had already pulled Yu Huaxue into the floating cloud pagoda. She entered very easily. Qin Yun rejected Yu Huaxue because he wanted her to leave quickly so that he could talk to Yuxi alone. After Su Chunxiu bid farewell to Qin Yun, he also left with his group. People like Yang Jinchong and the others felt an indescribable depression in their hearts. Not only did they encounter a very powerful Nine Yang Palace King, even the two beauties, Yuxi and Yu Huaxue, were together with the Nine Yang Palace King. This made them feel uncomfortable, as if a good dish had been eaten by a pig. The first floor of the floating cloud pagoda was a hall with tables and chairs. Yu Huaxue stood there, waiting for Qin Yin to appear. After Qin Yin appeared, she quickly stepped forward and bowed her head slightly. "Nine Yang Palace King, this little girl has offended you before. Please forgive me." Yuxi took off her mask and looked at Qin Yun. "Xiao Yun, Huaxue is my little sister, so she is also your little sister. How can you say that you are not familiar with her?" Qin Yun shook his head with a smile and said to Yu Huaxue, "Next time, before you do something, you must first understand the situation clearly. Otherwise, you will be tricked by others without even knowing." Yu Huaxue quickly nodded with a sweet smile. "Palace King, Huaxue will remember your teachings. Hurry up and call him Big Brother Yun." Yuxi laughed. "Big Brother Yun." Yu Huaxue is also very curious about the relationship between Qin Yun and Yuxi, because Yuxi said that her little sister was Qin Yun's little sister. Generally, only that layer of relationship would be like this. Yuxi handed over the Divine Sun Bloodline Divine Source to Qin Yun and said, "Here, this is the Divine Sun race's Bloodline Divine Source. It is a very good kind." Qin Yun received it and was secretly delighted. His harvest this time was not bad. He had obtained the Divine Yang race Bloodline Divine Origin. He had been thinking about how he could get his hands on the Divine Sun Bloodline Divine Source. He had not expected to obtain it now. Now, only the Divine Star race and the Divine Sword race were left. You should first integrate with the God Source of the God Sun bloodline, and then go and integrate with the God Source of the God Moon bloodline. Yuxi said again. Yu Huaxue said in surprise, "Sister Shi, our Divine Moon race's bloodline Divine Source cannot be used by men." Qin Yin frowned and said, "Really? What will happen if a man uses it?" Yuxi is also somewhat doubtful and asked, "Through the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, there shouldn't be any problem, right?" Yu Huaxue quickly shook her head and said, "No. Through the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, it is also impossible to pass the Divine Moon bloodline to a man. If a man uses it, he will become a woman. There is such a thing." Qin Yin was startled. He cried out in alarm and said, "Really? It's true. And through the Divine Moon bloodline Divine Source, if a man becomes a woman, he won't be able to live for long. There have been such examples in the past. A man stole our bloodline Divine Source and immediately became a woman after fusing with it." Yu Huaxue said with a worried expression, "You must not act recklessly." Qin Yin looked at Yuxi and said, "Fortunately, you haven't given it to me, otherwise, I would already be a woman." Yu Huaxue giggled and said, "Palace King, if you become a woman, you will definitely not have it. Is there any other way to let a man use the Divine Moon bloodline Divine Source?" Qin Yin asked, "I really need the bloodline Divine Source of a strong race." Yu Huaxue gently shook her head, then gracefully sat down on a chair and said, "Our Divine Moon clan is different from the other powerful ancient races. Our Divine Moon clan are all women. We mainly increase our numbers through two methods. One is through the moonstone. In our clan, there's a special kind of small stone. That small stone absorbs moon divine power. When it reaches a certain condition, it will gradually become bigger. Then the stone will explode, and a young girl will be born. The other method is to select outstanding, ordinary human women and pass the divine moon bloodline, divine source, to them, allowing them to obtain the divine moon bloodline. And I came out from the stone. Yushi said, I heard the Duchess talk about your divine moon clan before. The bloodline divine source was also given by her, but she never said that men are not allowed to use it. The powerful ancient races are really strange. They even have this kind of operation. Qingyun said in surprise, I heard that you already have purple blood, Hall King. Why do you still need to merge with the bloodline of a powerful race? Asked Yu Huaxue. I have a way to fuse the bloodlines of many different races to strengthen my body. Qingyun looked at the golden pearl in his hand. That was the divine Yang race's bloodline, divine origin. Then don't try to merge with the divine moon bloodline and divine source. If you become a woman, you won't be able to change back. Yu Huaxue warned. It doesn't matter. Yuelon also likes women. Yushi couldn't help but laugh. Qingyun rolled his eyes at Yushi and said with a sigh, I can only give up the idea of fusing with the divine moon bloodline. Yushi asked, Huaxue, even if you cultivate the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra's third layer with him, is it still not possible? Of course, Yu Huaxue knew what it meant to cultivate the third level of the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, so her jade face suddenly blushed. Although she was born from a stone, she was no different from a normal woman. No, Yu Huaxue shook her head. Let's not talk about this anymore. Are there any clues to the blue sky universe? Qingyun asked. Yushi looked at Yu Huaxue. Yu Huaxue was the disciple of the Divine Moon Clan's great emperor. She definitely knew about the blue sky universe. This matter, I have signed a soul contract. I can't leak it out. Yu Huaxue sighed and said, Brother Yun, it's not that I don't want to tell you, but I have my own difficulties and can't leak it out. Qingyun took out the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron. This Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron could refine the soul power of the soul contract. I can help you remove the contract, but this will make you break your promise to your master. Qingyun said, Since you're Xiao Shi's little sister, you are also my little sister. I won't force you to do this kind of thing. Brother Yun, I am in a difficult situation. I really want to tell you, because I hope you can guide me in cultivating the Tao of inscription, but I promise, Master. Yu Huaxue said, with a conflicted expression. Qingyun said, Can you contact your master now? Why don't you go ask her? Yu Huaxue quickly nodded and said, I can contact Master through the Divine Moon. I'll ask her now. Soon after, Qingyun brought Yu Shi and Yu Huaxue to the top of the floating cloud pagoda. It was nighttime, and the gigantic divine moon of the heavens floated in the sky. Looking up, one would feel a great sense of oppression. Yu Huaxue closed her eyes and contacted her master. Not long after, Yu Huaxue said, Master said that the matter of blue sky universe is a soul contract signed by the clan emperor of a very strong race. Everyone present at that time signed a soul contract, so it can't be leaked. I can break your soul contract. Qingyun said, Is this true? Yu Huaxue still did not believe it. Of course it's true, Qingyun said with a smile. Yu Huaxue then contacted the Divine Moon Clan Emperor and said, Master asked me to ask, if we provide the matter of blue sky universe, what benefits can you give our Divine Moon Clan? Qingyun was not surprised at all. After all, it was the Divine Moon Clan Emperor, and he, as the Nine-Yang Palace King, also had a certain level of ability. The clan emperor naturally wanted a bargain. What do you want? Qingyun asked. What kind of clues can you provide me? Master said, to give me 10 divine universe golden stones. Yu Huaxue said in a low voice. This is Master's intention. I'll give it. Qingyun said. 10 divine universe golden stones were nothing to him, but they could let him know the secret of blue sky universe. Then let's begin. Yu Huaxue nodded. Huaxue, your master wants you to bring back the divine universe golden stones, right? Yushi asked. Qingyun already brought the 2 of them. returning to the floating cloud pagoda. We are very lacking in divine universe golden stones, Yu Huashua said. Qin Yun gave her 5 divine universe golden stones, and after the matter was done, he would give her another 5. Through the soul creation heavenly cauldron, Qin Yun very skillfully refined the soul contract in Yu Huashua's soul. This method caused Yu Huashua to be extremely shocked. She never thought that someone would actually be able to break the soul contract, and so easily. Brother Yun, I don't know where the blue sky universe is. The various great races also don't know. I only know that it's in the sky. After Yu Huashua finished speaking, she saw that Qin Yun was somewhat disappointed and hurriedly said, "But we all obtained something that can allow us to enter the blue sky universe." As she spoke, Yu Huashua took out a light blue crystal card and handed it to Qin Yun. Qin Yun took a look and said in shock, "What kind of inscription is this?" Even he could not understand the inscription on the surface of the crystal card. "I don't know either. I only know that there are many similar inscription inheritances in the blue sky universe." Yu Huashua said, "Brother Yun, this crystal card is for you. It can allow you to enter the blue sky universe." "If I don't have this kind of crystal card, can I go in?" Qin Yun asked. "You can go in, but it will be very troublesome." Yu Huashua said with a smile, "Brother Yun, thank you for your divine universe golden stone. All right, come back with us to the ship and meet that duke. She mentioned you before." Yushi knocked Yu Huashua's head and said, "Huashua, he's a man. The duke and the others don't really like to wear clothes inside the ship. Are you sure you want to bring him along?" Chapter 22:17. Yu Huashua did not stand on ceremony and humbly asked many questions about inscription. Her level of inscription is extremely high, but she does not have as many types of inscription as Qin Yun. Not to mention Qin Yun's mastery of many types of inscription, he is also very proficient in them. An inscription master like him is very rare. This was mainly because he had lived for 9 lifetimes. In addition, he had mastered many inscription spirits. And Yu Huashua only has the Moon Lady inscription spirit. So her specialty is moon runes, and then from moon runes to other aspects of inscription. For example, the fusion of God-level inscription and moon runes, or the fusion of moon runes and beast-type inscription totems. She can also transform her Moon Lady inscription spirit into a form. The form is not a human form, but a white bird. The questions she asked Qin Yun are the difficulties she has encountered over the years. There are also questions that the old inscription masters of the Divine Moon Clan could not answer. However, with a little analysis, Qin Yun solved many of the difficulties, allowing Yu Huashua to see the light. When Yu Huashua and Qin Yun talked, she was very engrossed and did not feel the passage of time. Yushi is also an inscription master, so her relationship with Yu Huashua is very good. She is also listening from the side. In front of Qin Yun, Yushi's inscription technique is nothing, so she did not interrupt and listen patiently. Unknowingly, the sky has brightened. Yu Huashua closed her little book. Her beautiful face is full of joy and said with a smile, "Thank you, Brother Yun, for your guidance." "Huashua, why are the inscription masters of the Divine Moon Clan so weak?" Yushi said, "This is a problem that has troubled you for many years. They can't solve it?" Yu Huashua shook her head and sighed. "Our Divine Moon Clan's inscription masters are considered good among the strong clans, but they can't compare to Brother Yun." "Then what about your master? Does she also know inscription?" Qin Yun asked. "Is the Divine Moon Clan's emperor very busy? No time to guide disciples?" "Of course my master knows inscription, but the Tao of inscription she cultivates is not suitable for me. When I came to her for a problem, she told me to comprehend it myself." Yu Huashua slightly puffed up her white and red cheeks, feeling somewhat sad about this. "That's because she doesn't understand, so she told you to comprehend it yourself." Qin Yun said with a smile, "She's your master after all. She needs some face. She can't say that she doesn't know, right?" "Maybe." Yu Huashua cracked a smile. "Big Brother Yun is still the best. You don't find me annoying and guide me patiently. Then why did you help your master cheat your brother of 10 divine universe goldstones?" Yushi pinched Yu Huashue's face and said with a smile, "Tell me, was it Big Brother Yun or your master who kissed you? It's all the same." Yu Huashue smiled tenderly. "Guess how long after you called him Big Brother Yun? Did he already have the same position as your master in your heart?" Yushi giggled. "Little girl, are you interested in Big Brother Yun? Don't talk nonsense." Yu Huashue blushed and said angrily, "I won't tease you anymore. Hurry up and send the Divine Universe Golden Stone back." Yushi chuckled. "Big Sister Shi, Big Brother Yun, sorry for disturbing you. I'm leaving now so that you two can be intimate. Goodbye." Yu Huashue smiled mischievously and walked out of the floating cloud pagoda. "That damn girl." Yushi cursed with a smile. Yu Huashue first returned to the Duke's ship. She wanted to give the Divine Universe Golden Stone to the Duke. After Yu Huashue left, Yushi also came to Qin Yun's side and hugged his robust body. She said in surprise, "Xiao Yun, I haven't seen you for a long time, and you've changed so much. You've become a lot stronger. Of course, I want to quickly become stronger, so that you 9 sun goddesses don't worry about me." Qin Yun looked at Yushi's elegant and peerless face and kissed her forehead. "You can continue to become stronger, that's good." Yushi is still worried that Qin Yun would not be able to continue breaking through, because it is very difficult for people with multiple Dao veins to break through. Qin Yun and Yushi hugged each other and kissed for a while. Then Yushi patted Qin Yun's chest and said with a smile, "Quickly go and fuse with the Divine Yang race's bloodline, divine origin. What about Sister Bingxing and the others? Are they all on that ship?" Qin Yun asked. "In our Guanghan Palace and the Divine Moon Race will join forces." "We might join the Divine Moon Race," Yushi said. "We are still discussing the specifics. This should be discussed with their clan emperor, right? That clan emperor asked me for 10 Divine Universe Golden Stones. He is not easy to deal with. When you talk, don't suffer a loss." Qin Yun fondly caressed Yushi's cold and elegant, beautiful face. "Don't worry, we won't suffer a loss. At that time, we will have a very high position in the Divine Moon Race." Yushi said with a smile, "I almost caused you to suffer. Fortunately, Huashue was here, otherwise you might have already become a woman." If Yu Huashue did not mention it, Yushi might have already let Qin Yun fuse with the Divine Moon bloodline, divine origin. Originally, Yushi brought Qin Yun here because she was worried that the discussion would collapse and conflict would occur. But now it seems that the Divine Moon Race and the Divine Yang Race have agreed to join forces. Because they will enter the blue heavenly universe in the future, they will discuss cooperation in advance. After entering, they will be able to take care of each other. I want to go back to the big ship. I am the 9-sun Divine Maiden. I am of great help to the Divine Moon Race. They need to borrow my strength." Yushi walked out of the floating cloud pagoda. Qin Yun sent her out and looked at the Divine Moon Race's huge crescent moon-like ship. He said, "Help me say hello to Sister Bingxing and Sister Shuyin. I want to go back to the 9 Yang Divine Palace. If you become a woman, I might be able to take you on the ship." Yushi joked, "You don't know how beautiful that ship is. Those beauties are dressed very casually inside, wearing very little. Do you want to go up?" "I don't want to, but Yuelon definitely wants to," Qin Yun said with a smile. "Even if you want to go up, I don't dare to take you. You will definitely be beaten to death." While speaking and laughing, Yushi soared into the sky and flew towards the big ship. Qin Yun looked at Yushi leaving and said with a smile, "Xiaoxi looks very happy. She seems to have forgotten that she is the Moon Clan Emperor and Moon Dragon God. When Yushi was the Dark Knight Princess, she suffered great trauma in the Dark Royal Clan. Now that she has become a lot more cheerful, Qin Yun's mood also became better. Xiao Yun, with your strength, it shouldn't be difficult for you to sneak into that ship." Ling Yuner very much yearned for that ship. Her tone is filled with regret. She sighed and said, "Inside that ship, it is simply a dream." "Great beauty, Yuner. You are such a rogue. You must have been influenced by Yuelon," Qin Yun said with a smile. He took out the heaven-leaping shuttle and entered it. The heaven-leaping shuttle flew in the sky. Qin Yun also began fusing with the Divine Moon bloodline, divine origin. As he has more and more powerful race bloodlines in his body, the speed at which he fused with other powerful race bloodlines became faster and faster. 2 days passed by. When he was about to return to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, Qin Yun is almost done fusing with the Divine Sun bloodline, Divine Origin. Nine-Yang Divine Palace, Heavenly Palace. Qin Yun is in a spacious secret room, undergoing the final stage of fusion. After entering this stage, Qin Yun suddenly felt his eyes heat up. The blue heavenly eye appeared by itself. Furthermore, his entire body is emitting a blue mist. Yuner, my body seems to have changed a lot. Qin Yun yelled in alarm. Could it be because of fusing with the Divine Sun bloodline, Divine Origin? Ling Yuner said. Maybe after the Divine Sun race and Nether Sun race merged, their bloodlines must have fused, Qin Yun said. At this moment, Qin Yun and Ling Yuner cried out in alarm because the Nether Sun within Qin Yun's body seems to have gone out of control and suddenly trembled. What's going on? Qin Yun yelled. I don't know. I can't control the Nether Sun. The Nether Sun is spewing out energy. Maybe you are about to open your 9th mysterious divine Dao vein. Ling Yuner said. The 9th mysterious divine Dao vein is opened by the Nether Sun. The power of the Nether Sun is very strong, but because Qin Yun's body is too weak, he has never been able to completely control it, so a lot of its power has been sealed. And Ling Yuner's existence can completely restrict the Nether Sun from going out of control. Xiao Yun, your body has grown to a certain level. Maybe you can completely control the Nether Sun now. Ling Yuner said. What about you? Qin Yun asked. I will still be together with you. Ling Yuner said with smile. I also have my own little Nether Sunday wait until you help me cultivate spirit body. Then I'll be able to go out. Qin Yun can now indeed sense that his 9th mysterious divine Dao vein is gushing out energy one after another. This energy is being released by the Nether Sun. It can distort everything around it. Even space is being distorted by the incomparably formidable gravity. After the stone tables and stools in the cultivation room were sucked over, the gravitational field around Qin Yun was destroyed. The stone tables and stools were also stretched very long. With a thought, Qin Yun released a burst of flame. Black flame appeared, and the stone tables and chairs melted into weak energy. Nether Sun's gravity, melting and devouring power have become even stronger. Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun suddenly sent a palm attack forward. A wave of heavy power rushed out like a wave. After the wave of gravity rushed out, he immediately withdrew it. This kind of Nether Sun power cannot be used easily. Qin Yun exclaimed. Too terrifying. Ling Yuner said again. Xiao Yun, after you cultivated purple blood, you fused with several other bloodlines and also cultivated the heavenly Dao image through the Imperial Heaven diagram. Is there any change in your blood now? Qin Yun immediately checked the blood in his body and became extremely shocked. Then he quickly forced out a stream of blood from his finger. The blue blood is the same as his blue heavenly eye. Ling Yuner said in shock. This blue color is somewhat similar to the blue sky. Qin Yun promptly took out the strange crystal card Yu Huaxue gave him. He used his own blood to compare the blue color of the crystal card and found that it is indeed very similar. Blue blood. What does it represent? Qin Yun carefully looked at the blue blood in his body. After careful examination, he discovered that his blood is still red. However, his blood is constantly releasing a powerful blue divine power. That's why it looks blue. This is a very powerful divine power. It might be related to the blue sky. Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun began releasing the most powerful divine power in his body. It flowed through his body. Not long after, his body felt as if it was being cut by a knife. This means that his body can only barely withstand his strongest divine power. Chapter 22:18. A long time ago, the nameless old man had said that people who possessed 10 divine, profound Dao statues had appeared in the various powerful clans, but none of them had managed to survive in the end. Not to mention 10 God profound Dao images Even if it was someone with 8 or 9 God profound Tao images, it would be very difficult to pass through the stage of opening up the profound God Tao meridian. It was extremely rare for Qin Yun to be able to open 9 profound God Tao veins. Xiao Yun, you can stop now. Let's see what happens next. Ling Yun'er said, your current strength is also very strong. Even if you face a Saint God Realm Marquis of a strong race, you will not lose. With the Heavenly 9 Dragons formation, we might even be able to deal with a Duke. During this period of time, Qin Yun had indeed been cultivating. He was trying to open up the Xian God Tao Meridian, causing him, the king of the Nine Yang Palace, to not interact much with the upper echelons of the Nine Yang Palace. He took advantage of this moment to find the upper echelons of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Furthermore, he personally went to find them. Qin Yun first came to Sword Hall. Xiao Wufeng was no longer in Sword Hall. He went to find the Jian family's people and brought them over. Before he left, he told the Sword Hall elder about this matter. The Sword Hall was located in an independent space. The interior was extremely spacious, just like a small town. In the middle of the town, there was a sword-like mountain. The peak of the sword mountain was at the sword hilt. Qin Yun asked the little hall spirit to teleport him to the sword hall at the peak. The Sword Hall elder was in the Sword Hall. Qin Yun suddenly arrived, and the Sword Hall elder happened to be in the Sword Hall's main hall, conversing with the other Sword Hall disciples. Upon seeing Qin Yun suddenly appear in the Sword Hall's hall, the Sword Hall elder hurriedly walked over. The other disciples bowed to Qin Yun. Qin Yun waved his hand and said with a smile, "No need to be so polite." His easygoing attitude made the disciples of the Sword Hall feel very close to him. Following that, Qin Yun and the Sword Hall elder entered the inner hall. "Palace King, if you have any business with me, you can just tell me to go to the Heavenly Palace. Why must you come here personally?" The Sword Hall's elder said, "In the past, the 9 palaces within the Nine Yang Divine Palace all had palace masters. However, there are only elders now. Why is there no hall master?" Qin Yun asked. "Because no one is qualified to be the hall master." The Sword Hall elder said, a little embarrassed. "Every hall has a hall master's palace. The path to the hall master's palace has many tests, but none of you can pass them?" Qin Yun said in surprise. The Sword Hall elder's face immediately turned red. He smiled awkwardly and said, "Only the White Commander can enter the Beast Hall Master's throne hall. That's why we let her be the commander. As for me, I have tried many times over the years, but I have never been able to enter the Heavenly Sword Treasure Palace within my Sword Hall." Qin Yun sighed and said, "The reason for the decline of the Nine Yang Divine Palace is probably because it's too difficult to enter the Palace Master's Palace," the Sword Hall elder said shamefully. "Hall King, it has nothing to do with this. This was mainly because they had been suppressed by many parties, causing the Nine Yang Divine Palace to be unable to absorb outstanding geniuses for many years. After many years, it had become like this. I was originally a small disciple, but because I spent many years in the Sword Hall, I managed to become an elder of the Sword Hall after enduring the deaths of many seniors." Qin Yun said, "After so many years, you have not left the Nine Yang Divine Palace and even stayed in the Sword Hall to nurture new disciples. It can be considered as having a heart. I will make an exception and let you become the Sword Hall's Palace Master." "I can't afford it. Just let me be an elder of the Sword Hall." "Sword Hall's Heavenly Sword Hall Master. It's better to find someone else." The Sword Hall elder immediately refused. "We must follow the previous rules. Whoever has the strength to enter the Heavenly Sword Treasure Palace can become the Heavenly Sword Hall Master." Sword Hall elder, "The Sword Hall needs a palace master. Every hall needs a palace master." Qin Yun said with a smile, "Now that I, the Palace King, have returned, the other halls will also gradually prosper." The Sword Hall elder shook his head and said, "I am very grateful to Palace King for thinking highly of me, but I am truly not worthy of being called the Heavenly Sword Hall Master. Currently, the Heavenly Sword Hall Master position is still empty. The other people in the Sword Hall are all working hard to cultivate. They want to enter the Heavenly Sword Treasure Palace. This is their hope, We cannot extinguish the hope of those youngsters." When Qin Yun heard this, he nodded and said, "This can indeed become the motivation for their bitter cultivation. All right, before the Sword Hall Master is born, you will be in charge of everything in the Sword Hall. I will not interfere too much. I believe in you." Many thanks for Palace King's understanding. The Sword Hall Elder relaxed a lot. He doesn't have the face to meet the heavenly Sword Hall Master. Sword Hall Elder, go hold a selection and choose the most outstanding 10 people. I will carve runes on their origin, swords to increase their strength. Qin Yun said, "This origin sword rune? Is it the same as sword gods?" The Sword Hall Elder saw the sword totem on Xie Wufeng's origin sword. He was very envious back then. Qin Yun nodded with a smile and said, "Indeed, take out your origin sword. I will help you carve the rune." The Sword Hall Elder is extremely excited. He promptly took out his origin sword and thanked Qin Yun incessantly. Qin Yun took out the floating cloud divine needle and began carving the sword totem. The Sword Hall Elder cultivates Thunder Sword, so Qin Yun also carved the Thunder Totem. The process is very fast. It is finished in a short while. So fast. The Sword Hall Elder opened his eyes wide in shock. He looked at his origin sword and excitedly exclaimed in admiration, "It has become a lot stronger. Many thanks to Palace King for bestowing the rune on me. It is not that Nine-Yang Divine Palace doesn't have inscription inheritance. It is just that not many people can use it. Even if they can use it, they can't be as fast and steady as Qin Yun. You go arrange the selection of disciples. Oh, that's right. Tell them to stop before going too far. I will go to the Dragon Palace Hall." Qin Yun said, "Yes, I will go immediately." The Sword Hall Elder is extremely happy. He can already see the glorious rise of Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun took a trip to the Dragon Palace Hall. Qin Yun has the most understanding of dragon runes because of the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. The strongest one is still the dragon heavenly rune he mastered. Before, he was unable to carve dragon heavenly rune, but now that he has Empyrean inscription spirit, he can already use all kinds of heavenly runes. It is just that he is not very proficient in using them. Moreover, carving them takes a lot of time. Just like the Sword Hall, Qin Yun first carved a set of dragon totem for the Dragon Palace Elder, and then let him arrange the selection of disciples. Qin Yun walked around the various palaces and gave him a lot of help, especially in the aspect of inscription. And Pill Hall doesn't need him to worry because Pill God and Medicine God are here. Finally, Qin Yun arrived at Nine Dragon Lake. Nine Dragon Lake is the residence of Bai Si. The last time Bai Si met Qin Yun here, Qin Yun changed his name to Qin Fei and was only a youngster of the Qin family. And now, Qin Yun is sitting in the hall. Bai Si doesn't dare to sit down and is standing at the side. "Bai Si, please sit down," Qin Yun said. "Palace King, Bai Si said in low voice, "I really didn't know it was you back then. You didn't do anything to me back then. Why are you so nervous?" Qin Yun said with a smile, "Don't tell me I look that scary. No, it's just that I am now Bai Si and also the Beast Hall's 10,000 Beast Palace Master, but I don't have much contribution to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace." Bai Si said very nervously. Although she looks petite and cute, she is usually very imposing. She has the greatest imposing manner in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. And now, in front of Qin Yun, the Palace King, she is like a little girl. "You have contributed a lot, and your father has contributed a lot as well." Qin Yun got up and walked over. He patted her shoulder and said with a smile, "Sit down and tell me about your father." Bai Si is now a lot more at ease. She can indeed feel Qin Yun's easygoing manner. He doesn't have any arrogance at all and doesn't even have the aura of a palace king. However, it imperceptibly gives her an indescribable pressure. Now that Qin Yun mentioned her father, it also evoked the pain and hatred in her heart. After Bai Si sat down, she recalled the past. She had previously told Qin Yun that she didn't know how the white tiger died, but Qin Yun didn't believe her. Now, Qin Yun clearly wants to ask who killed the white tiger. Qin Yun suddenly shouted, "Little palace spirit, show yourself." Oh, little palace spirit suddenly appeared in front of Bai Si. Little palace spirit often communicates with by sea, but it is only through mental communication. They have never met. By sea and little palace spirit are both wearing white dresses. Their appearances are exactly the same, only their hairstyles are different. They are also petite, but little palace spirit is more lively and adorable. By sea is more mature and steady. They stood together as if they were twin sisters. "Why do you look like me?" By sea said in shock. She is naturally very familiar with this palace spirit, but she has never seen it before. "You could be considered my little sister," little palace spirit said with smile. Then she pulled By Sea's hand and kissed her cheek. Qin Yun's expression is rather solemn as he said, "Little palace spirit, white steward, quickly tell me how the white tiger died. I must avenge this enmity." "Palace king, I know you are very strong, but—" By Sea glanced at little palace spirit. "Big brother palace king, the people who killed Uncle White Tiger are very strong. You can't defeat them yet." Little palace spirit shook her head and said, "I can't tell you yet." Qin Yun walked over and pinched the twin sister's cheeks. He said unhappily, "Don't look down on me. Quickly tell me." Bai Si never expected that the palace king would directly pinch her cheeks. "I won't tell you, I won't tell you." Little palace spirit is very concerned about Qin Yun. She doesn't want her big brother palace king to be killed again. Bai Si's death is also the same, because before her father died, he told her not to think about revenge. She naturally doesn't want the palace king to die because of revenge. "If you don't tell me, I can only use other methods to make you tell me." Qin Yun said, "I have a way. Big brother palace king, promise us not to rush to take revenge. We will tell you." Little palace spirit said. Bai Si also nodded. Qin Yun let go of their faces. These two identical exquisite women lightly spat and then rubbed their cheeks. "Quickly tell me," Qin Yun said. "It's the God Star race's emperor and the 4 great star kings. They joined hands to besiege Uncle White Tiger." Little palace spirit gnashed her teeth and said, "Back then, Uncle White Tiger became very strong because of a fortuitous encounter. He was even stronger than Big Brother Palace King back then. But later, he was killed." Chapter 22:19. Qin Yun had previously guessed that it was very likely the work of a powerful primordial race. If not, the tiny temple spirit would not have deliberately hidden it from him. The little hall spirit understood Qin Yun very well. He knew that no matter how strong his enemies were, Qin Yun would seek revenge. Furthermore, the God Star race was indeed very powerful. Furthermore, it was the God Star race's patriarch and a few kings who were fighting. That meant that Qin Yun had to face the most powerful group of people from the God Star race. The Nine Yang Divine Palace had once drifted in outer space for many years, and the Divine Star race's territory was in the Star Domain. White Tiger definitely had something on him that the God Star race had their eyes on. That was why he was killed. The more the little hall spirit thought about it, the sadder she became. It was very likely that she had seen how the White Tiger had died with her own eyes. She became even sadder after she told the hall spirit about it. She threw herself into Qin Yun's arms and cried softly, "Big brother Palace King, don't look for those bastards from the Divine Star race for now. Wait until you become stronger before you go, okay?" Qin Yun caressed the little palace spirit's beautiful hair and let out a long sigh. He said, I promise you, Palace King, my father has something very important on him. It has been stolen by them." Even though White Death felt sorrowful, she felt even more resentment. She really wanted to take revenge, but she did not have enough strength. Moreover, her father did not allow her to seek revenge. "Do you know what it is?" asked Qin Yun. "I don't know either. In short, father became very strong back then because he obtained that thing. He didn't tell me what it was because he was worried that it would get out." White Death shook his head. Back when Qin Yun was Hall King Nine Yang, he was no match for a child of the Chaos race. After White Tiger obtained that item, he was able to fight against the Divine Star race's Race the Arch and 4 Dukes. The Divine Star race's Race the Arch and the 4 Dukes were all extremely powerful. "That belongs to your father. If it is still there, I will definitely take it back and return it to you," Qin Yun said. "There's no hurry now. This debt has been settled for many years. There's no need to be impatient. White Death looked at Qin Yun with grave expression and said, Palace King, before you have enough strength, you must not seek revenge on them. Qin Yun nodded and said, You and Little Palace Spirit can rest assured, I won't act recklessly. The Little Palace Spirit left Qin Yun's embrace and then hugged by sea. She said softly, Sister, you are my sister from now on. We are family. You are no longer alone. White Death laughed and said, Now, you look more like a little sister. Qin Yun also said with a smile, Little Palace Spirit, look at the White Commander. Only she looks like a big sister. The Little Palace Spirit said, I'm the big sister. I want to be the big sister. Then you two sisters should have a good chat. I will go find Granny Chionghua. Qin Yun said. Qin Yun left the Nine-Dragon Lake and arrived at the Great Hall outside. Then, he walked toward the door. The space inside the door was specially used to receive guests. The other clans of the Nine-Yang royal family were all inside. However, Granny Jade Flower wasn't inside. Instead, she was in the Pill Hall. The Divine Sky race also had a separate space. The Nine-Yang Divine Palace was located near the Medicine King City, but Grandma Chionghua and Medicine King Qin had always stayed in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. His main purpose was to help grow medicinal herbs here. In addition, Pill God and Medicine God were here, so he wanted to stay even more. He wanted to discuss pill refining techniques with those two powerful gods. Qin Yun found Granny Jade Flower. She and Qin Huayu were in a medicinal field inside the Pill Hall. The Pill Hall's space was the largest. It could also be said that it was the most stable and filled with divine power in the entire Nine-Yang Divine Palace, because a large amount of medicinal herbs were planted here. After the medicinal herbs were refined into pills, they could increase the strength of all the disciples of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Granny, Big Sister Qin. After Qin Yun saw them, he smiled and greeted. Greetings, Palace King. Qin Huayu is also very humble. She doesn't dare to look straight at Qin Yun. Granny Jade Flower, on the other hand, is very open. She said with a smile, Little Qin, you really hit it well. Although I knew that you hit it well, I really didn't expect that you would have such a great background. Back then, the strength that Qin Yun displayed in the Medicine King City made Granny Jade Flower feel that it was inconceivable. Qin Huayu is now a member of the Guanghan Palace. When she was in the Guanghan Palace, she knew that Qin Yun knew many powerful women. Some of them were even powerful goddesses. She always wondered why Qin Yun knew so many beautiful and powerful goddesses. Later she found out that Qin Yun was once the king of gods, as well as the Nine-Yang Palace king. Qin Yun very amiably smiled and said, Back then I wasn't strong enough, so I had to hide it well. Now that I have a bit of strength, I'm not afraid. He pulled Qin Huayu's long hair and said with a smile, Big Sister Qin, why are you treating me like an outsider? I've already called you Big Sister Qin. Little Qin, your position is really too high. I can only look up to you. Qin Huayu said in low voice. What do you mean look up to me? Qin Yun said with a smile. Relax a bit. I'm not scaring people. Granny Jade Flower is very happy. She chuckled and said, Little Qin, when will you have time? Our Qin clan's emperor wants to meet you. Granny, when will he come? I'm about to go find him. Qin Yun asked. Qin Yun saw the Qin clan's emperor together with a group of Qin family elders before, but they did not interact. He's in Qin Medicine Royal City. He'll be here soon. Granny Jade Flower said. All right, I'll go see him. Qin Yun said. No need. No need. He said he would come to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace to see you. Granny Jade Flower promptly said. Little Qin, just wait in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. I'll go find him now. All right then. Qin Yun nodded and said. Granny Jade Flower promptly left the Pill Hall space. Big Sister Qin, Medicine God and Pill God are my friends. I'll let them take special care of you. Qin Yun said with a smile. Master has always been very good to me. Qin Huayu also relaxed a bit and said with a light smile. He also said that he wants me to secretly learn some skills from you and then pass them on to him. Old medicine is still the same. Qin Yun said with a smile. From now on, you can treat this place as your own home. If you feel bored in the Guanghan Palace, you can come here for a walk. And thank you, little Qin. Qin Huayu feels that she is very lucky. Not only was she able to enter the Guanghan Palace after meeting Qin Yun, she was also given special care by the medicine god. Furthermore, her position in the Qin family has also increased by a lot. Qin Yun chatted with Qin Huayu for a while before Granny Jade Flower returned. The Qin clan emperor is already waiting in the main hall. When Qin Yun arrived at the main hall, he saw a tall and sturdy old man. He is a head taller than Qin Yun. Although the old man has a very stern and imposing appearance, his eyes are very kind and gentle, especially when he saw Qin Huayu and Qin Yun come out. His stern face is filled with a kind smile. "Old ancestor," Qin Huayu politely said. "Greetings, old ancestor." Qin Yun also greeted with a smile. "Don't call me old ancestor. You're making me old. Especially you, the Nanyang Palace King. Your skin is really thick. You're clearly much older than me, but you still call me old ancestor." The Qin clan emperor laughed loudly and said. Qin Yun said with a smile, "I'm still very young in this life." As they chatted, Qin Yun brought the Qin clan emperor to the heavenly hall space. Qin Huayu and Granny Jade Flower returned to the pill hall space. After arriving at the heavenly hall space, Qin Yun said, "Old ancestor, you can just call me Big Brother," the Qin clan emperor said with a smile. "I will take advantage of you a bit. Big Brother, I tested the Qin imperial clan bloodline before. At that time, the bloodline crystal was black." Qin Yun said. At that time, the Qin imperial clan king told him the reason. Speaking of this matter, the Qin clan emperor's expression slightly changed. He said, "Palace King brother, if you want to know about this, you must ensure that no one else knows." Earlier, Qin Yun told Ling Yun that he is going into seclusion to rest and then sealed his senses. Therefore, Ling Yun did not sense it and did not know that Qin Yun and the Qin clan emperor met. He took out the floating cloud pagoda and entered it with the Qin clan emperor. "No third person will know about this." Qin Yun said, "Big brother, you can be at ease and say it. Why is the bloodline crystal black during the bloodline test? I'm not too clear about this matter. I only know that it is heavenly blood." The Qin clan emperor said, "Heavenly blood does not appear because of the body. It is mainly affected by the soul." "Heavenly blood?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "What's so special about possessing this kind of heavenly blood?" Xiao Yuan also tested heavenly blood. Possessing heavenly blood means that one can become heavenly, the Qin clan emperor said. "Then, is this considered a race?" Qin Yun said, "How many people have this kind of heavenly blood? I don't know how many people have it. In short, bloodline crystal can test heavenly blood. Even if one is not an emperor race person, they can still test it," the Qin clan emperor said with a frown. "So far, I have only met a person who possesses heavenly blood." Qin Yun promptly forced out a drop of blood from his finger and said, "Big brother, look at my blue blood." The Qin clan emperor's pupil shrank. He said in shock, "You have successfully cultivated heavenly blood. That's why you have evolved to this state." Soon after, the Qin clan emperor also forced out a drop of blood. His blood is red and has golden light, but there are faint blue threads lingering around it. It is far worse than Qin Yun's blood. Is heavenly blood related to blue heavenly universe? Qin Yun said, "Big brother, do you know about blue heavenly domain?" "Of course I know. The blue sky cosmos has a great relationship with people like us. In the divine desolate, people who have successfully cultivated the heavenly blood might gather here, or they might not. Because there are definitely not many people who have successfully cultivated the heavenly blood," the Qin clan emperor said. Qin Yun said, "In that case, all the more the things in blue heavenly domain cannot fall into the hands of the powerful ancient races." The Qin clan emperor nodded. Just as Qin Yun was thinking about heavenly blood, a very powerful heavenly lion's heavenly roar suddenly came from outside. "Is there a powerful beast attack?" The Qin clan emperor's expression suddenly turned solemn. "It's the heavenly lion king." Qin Yun was somewhat surprised and said with a smile, Let's go take a look at the heavenly lion king." The Heavenly Lion King was guarding the entrance of the myriad realms' divine court previously. Now that he suddenly came over, Qin Yun is not very surprised. Chapter 22:20. Qin Yun had wanted to look for the Heavenly Lion King for a long time. He had found out from the Divine Chief Judge that the Heavenly Lion King was very responsible in guarding the entrance of the divine court of the myriad realms. Therefore, after receiving a generous reward, he went into seclusion to cultivate. Not long after, the Heavenly Lion King came to the Nine Yang Divine Palace. This surprised Qin Yun, and he hurriedly walked out happily. However, after arriving outside the Nine Yang Divine Palace, Qin Yun saw the Heavenly Lion King covered in wounds. The Heavenly Lion King had turned into a huge, flaming lion. His body was pierced by many black chains. His mountain-like body was filled with ghastly wounds. Furious flames were spewing out from his wounds. The heavily injured Heavenly Lion King lay on the ground. His huge eyes were filled with anger as he roared continuously. Seeing this scene, Qin Yun was immediately enraged. There were more than 10 pillars around the Heavenly Lion King. He was sealed in the pillars, and they were all connected by chains. The chains pierced through the Heavenly Lion King's body and bound his limbs. Shen Changhao and the others were only responsible for protecting the Nine Yang Divine Palace. As long as the enemies outside did not attack the Nine Yang Divine Palace, they would not attack. The Heavenly Lion King was Qin Yun's friend. Although he was heavily injured, the Divine Sky race had no obligation to attack. Qin Yun stood at the entrance of a Nine Yang Divine Palace. Just as he was about to fly out, the Qin clan emperor shouted, "Palace King, don't go over first." In the distant horizon, many huge battleships suddenly appeared. It was the Outer Sky Alliance Army. The battleships of the Outer Sky Alliance Army were completely black. Each of them was very huge. They lined up in the distant horizon like a black crack cutting across the sky. Among the battleships of the Outer Sky Alliance Army, there was an even larger golden ship. "That's the Heavenly Law Divine Realms battleship," the Qin clan emperor said. "Heavenly Law Divine Realm." Qin Yun frowned and said, "This battleship is very big. Whose is it?" Currently, the strongest in the Heavenly Law Divine Realm are the Heavenly Mother Moai and the Heavenly Emperor Yuxie. That battleship should belong to the Heavenly Emperor Yuxie, the Qin clan emperor said. The Outer Sky Alliance Army had cooperated with the Heavenly Law Divine Realm before, and their relationship was very good. Shen Changhao said, "If they attack the Nine Yang Divine Palace, they will not be polite." The Divine Sky tribe members were all prepared for battle. At this moment, by sea, the Sword Hall Elder and the Dragon Hall Elder all brought their people out and stood inside the grand entrance of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. "There are at least 5,000 ships of the Outer Heaven Alliance," said the Qin family's emperor. "We are now part of the Nine Sun royal family, and those people from Outer Heaven Domain hate the Nine Sun royal family very much." Medicine King Qin said. The Natural Law Divine Realm and the Outer Realm Alliance Army all wanted to exterminate the Nine Yang royal race. Clearly, the Heavenly Lion King had been captured and tortured by them. They had captured the Heavenly Lion King and placed him outside because they wanted to wait for people to go out and rescue him. They would kill anyone from a Nine Yang Divine Palace who came out. The Natural Law Divine Realm and the Outer Realms Alliance Army obviously did not dare to attack the Nine Yang Divine Palace, because they knew that it would be very difficult to take down the Nine Yang Divine Palace, not to mention that the Divine Sky race was guarding it. As long as they didn't attack the Nine Yang Sacred Hall, the Divine Sky race wouldn't attack. A cold glint flashed in Qin Yun's eyes as he looked at the large fleet of warships. He quickly planned how to fight. The current him has already opened 9 Xian God Dao veins and cultivated the 10th divine Xian Dao image. His strength is sufficiently strong. As long as he doesn't face dukes from powerful races, he can suppress them. Just as Qin Yun was looking around, a black wind suddenly appeared. The Qin family's emperor's expression changed as he cursed in a low voice. "The Dark Royal Race's people are also here." It should be the dark race's emperor. 1 million black-armored dark royal race people and more than 100,000 huge black lizard dragons are currently surrounding the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Because we are here, this group of people don't dare to attack. If you go out and get killed by them, it will have nothing to do with us. Shin Changhao said. Marquis Changhao, just guard the Nine Yang Divine Palace properly. Bai Si said. When she saw Qin Yun's furious expression, she knew that the Heavenly Lion King is Qin Yun's friend. Palace King, wait a little longer. I will gather all the Nine Yang royal race's imperial family kings here. Our Nine Yang royal race's army is definitely not weaker than them. The Qin family's emperor said, Brother, don't trouble them. Let them cultivate properly. I can deal with these guys outside. Qin Yun said coldly. Can Qin Yun deal with so many powerful enemies outside? The people inside the Nine Yang Divine Palace all know that Qin Yun is very strong. However, there are countless powerful enemies outside, and there are definitely experts from unknown powerful races hiding. One must know that those powerful ancient races, Heavenly Law Divine Realm, Outer Heaven Domain Alliance Army, and Dark Royal Race all have some contact. This time, without the support of the Primal Chaos race, they definitely wouldn't dare to surround the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Nine Yang Palace King, you better forget about it. Shin Ruoming said, Forget about you. Even if our Divine Sky race's Duke is here, he wouldn't be able to suppress 1 million divine soldiers by himself. Just because he can't do it doesn't mean that I can't do it. Qin Yun saw the injuries on the Heavenly Lion King's body and felt even more furious. Palace King, Bai Si suddenly felt very worried. Shin Changhao didn't say anything and just watched expressionlessly from the side. The Qin family's emperor knew that Qin Yun is very strong, and he also believes that Qin Yun can save the Heavenly Lion King. On the ground in front of the Heavenly Lion King that was sealed, a black warship suddenly flew over. A youth holding the purple gold divine universe sword and wearing the purple gold heavenly armor floated down from the warship. He entered the barrier that sealed the Heavenly Lion King and stood on the Heavenly Lion King's head. Seeing that youth, Shin Ruoming's expression changed slightly, and he hurriedly said, Why does that guy look so familiar? Could he be Jiang Zijian? Shin Changhao frowned and said with squinted eyes, That's right, that guy is Jiang Zijian. The Divine Sword Race's Marquis of Lake sword grasps an extremely brilliant Heavenly Lake sword technique. A Marquis who looks so young must be very powerful. This person is from the Divine Sword Race. Just as Qin Yun had guessed, the Heavenly Law Divine Realm, Outer Heaven Domain Alliance Army, and Dark Royal Race indeed had the support of powerful races for this operation. After Jiang Zijin came out, another 3 youths flew out as well. Those 3 youths were all wearing the purple gold heavenly armor, and the weapons in their hands were all Divine Universe Amethyst Divine equipment. They all landed on top of the Heavenly Lion King's huge head. Heavenly Law Divine Realm's youngest Heavenly Emperor, Dark Royal Race's youngest Sacred God, Outer Heaven Domain Alliance's youngest Sacred God Realm Inscription Do Wang. Qin Clan's Emperor said with a grave voice, Sacred God Realm Inscription Do Wang. This title made even the Divine Sky Race's youths exclaim in admiration. That inscription Do Wang should have obtained the Primal Chaos Race's bloodline, divine origin. He himself is not weak. Shin Ruoming said, A Sacred God Realm Inscription Do Wang. Even Shin Ruoming felt fear. After recovering the Nine Yang royal race's bloodline, Qin Clan's emperor began to investigate this matter, so he understood this matter very well. Jiang Zijian stood on the Heavenly Lion King's head and looked up at the Nine Yang Divine Palace floating in the sky. He pointed his sword at the door and said with a sneer, Qin Yun, I heard that this Heavenly Lion King has a pretty good relationship with you. Back then, you were the one who saved him. Now that he has fallen into our hands, will you be able to save him again? Heavenly Law Divine Realm's young Heavenly Emperor mocked. Heavenly Lion King was originally our Heavenly Law Divine Realm's dog. I never thought that the dignified Nine Yang Palace King would actually call our Heavenly Law Divine Realm's dog brother. The dark royal race's young sacred god laughed loudly and said, "Because Qin Yun is a dog to begin with. Look at him. Isn't he scared like a dog now?" That inscription Do Wang shouted, "Qin Yun, we will count to 10. If you don't come out, we will explode this lion dog's head." Jiang Zijian began to count. 1, 2, 3. When he counted to 3, a burst of flame suddenly soared into the sky above the 9-Yang Divine Palace. Soon after, a sharp cry rang out. The sky was immediately filled with fire clouds. Fire waves surged violently and rushed in all directions. Purple fire waves brought along intense divine universe purple energy, covering the sky and covering the sun, surging violently in the sky. This is the might of the ninth heaven Xian Sparrow. Yang has also absorbed a lot of energy from the divine universe purple sun and has become abnormally powerful. Everyone can only hear the divine bird's cry that is filled with wild might. They can't see where the ninth heaven Xian Sparrow is, because the sky is enveloped by thick fire clouds. The fire clouds in the sky suddenly roared and rushed towards the thousands of gigantic warships in front of them. The ninth heaven Xian Sparrow has appeared. It has a wingspan of 10,000 meters, and its entire body is covered with beautiful purplish gold feathers. The 9 long finches on its tail are flickering with intense purplish gold light. That pair of incomparably huge wings flapped ferociously. Every time it flapped, a large area of violent purple flames would be produced. Accompanied by ferocious purple lightning bolts, a monstrous wave of fire and lightning that is several hundred meters tall was formed in the sky. This is the ninth heaven Xian Sparrow? Shun Changhao shouted in shock. Everyone from the 9-Yang Divine Palace has a look of shock on their faces as they looked at that gigantic divine bird. Just as their attention was focused on the ninth heaven Xian Sparrow, Qin Yun had already rushed towards the heavenly Lion King. The ninth heaven Xian Sparrow's purple flames and lightning are extremely ferocious. The million-strong divine army of the royal darkness race and a group of lizard dragons were scattered in an instant. Those giant lizard dragons were first torn apart by the ferocious purple lightning and then burned by the scorching purple flames. A large number of giant lizard dragons' corpses fell from the sky. The elite army of the royal darkness race was defeated and crumbled in an instant. A very powerful divine, universe, purple chi, Jiang Zijian, is also looking at the sky with an astonished expression. Just then, he suddenly sensed danger approaching. "He's here!" Jiang Zijian cried out in shock. The 3 young men beside Jiang Zijian immediately looked in front of them and saw a figure leaping over. They immediately attacked that figure, only to discover that it was only an illusory figure formed from energy. It was not Qin Yun. The real Qin Yun used the void step, traversed through space, entered the barrier, and appeared behind Jiang Zijian and the others. Chapter 22-21. Jiang Zijian only felt a spatial fluctuation coming from behind him, and he suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Just as he was about to dodge, his body suddenly became incomparably heavy. Not only him, but the 3 young men behind him also felt an incomparably heavy weight, and it was difficult for them to dodge. All their hopes have turned to dust because they know that Qin Yun has a very powerful myriad heaven divine saber. That divine saber was incomparably sharp. In addition to Qin Yun's terrifying 9 meridians divine power, the purple gold heavenly armor on their bodies could not withstand it at all. Whoosh! Qin Yun cleaved horizontally with his saber and slashed furiously, stirring up saber winds that howled incessantly. Although Jiang Zijian, the young heavenly emperor of the natural law divine realm, and the young sacred god of the dark royal clan were all wearing purple gold heavenly armor, they were unable to resist the myriad heaven divine blade at all. After the armor on their bodies was split open by the saber, their bodies were cut in half at the waist. Only that young inscription Do King with a very strong set of runes appeared on his body. He was barely able to block that blade, but his body was also sent flying by the myriad heaven divine saber's blade energy. Jiang Zijian was a marquise, and he came from the Holy Sword. He had become a marquise at such a young age, which was very rare. But now his body had been cut in half. The saint god of the dark royal race and the young heavenly emperor of the natural law divine realm were both terrified. They originally believed that the four of them were strong enough to take down Qin Yun. But just now, they discovered that Qin Yun's strength is much stronger than before. Last time, Qin Yun had yet to open so many profound God Dao veins. One had to know that every time Qin Yun opened a mystic God Dao meridian, his divine powers would increase tremendously. The last time he fought, he was far weaker than he was today. Jiang Zijin's body had only been chopped in half, and he had not died. At the same time, he had also lost the ability to retaliate. Right now, the Heavenly Lion King was suffering from serious injuries, but he could sense that there were three powerful fellows above him who had their bodies slashed apart. Their blood was left on his head. With just this bit of strength, you dare to clamor in front of my 9-yang divine palace. Truly reckless. Qin Yun waved his hand, and the heavenly lion fighting dragon claw appeared. The huge lion claws grabbed at the young sacred god's body with a ferocious aura. With just a light grab, the young man's body was crushed into pieces. Seeing this scene, everyone in the 9-yang divine palace secretly sucked in a breath of cold air. Especially Shun Changhao, Shin Ruoming, and the others from the Divine Heaven clan, because the last time Qin Yun attacked, his strength was not that terrifying. The speed at which Palace King 9-yang's strength increased was terrifying. They also suddenly thought that Qin Yun was only a profound god, yet he possessed such terrifying power. He must have a lot of divine, profound Tao images. Yang Yang had transformed into a giant divine bird. Like the overlord of the sky, the dark royalty and the lizard dragon were killed in an instant. Her huge wings flapped, releasing purple lightning flames, directly rolling up the huge warships. In front of the mighty divine bird, the warships of the Outer Heaven Alliance were like paper boats, rocking and burning in the fierce fire waves. A large number of people from the outer heavens screamed as they were burned into countless sparks and fell to the ground. Qin Yun casually waved his saber twice and destroyed those pillars. At this moment, the Qin clan's emperor and the others flew over. That inscription Do Wang is quite powerful. He is an inscription Do Wang from the Outer Heaven domain. The runes he mastered are all very strong. After the inscription Do Wang was sent flying, he immediately fled. Qin Yun rescued the Heavenly Lion King and handed him over to the Qin clan's emperor to bring back to the 9-yang divine palace. Then, he chased after the inscription Do Wang. Don't even think of running. Qin Yun stepped through the air and arrived behind the inscription Do Wang. He pointed his finger forward, and the sky-piercing finger shot out like lightning. It hit the inscription Do Wang's body and blasted a big hole. I will perish together with you. The inscription Do Wang suddenly took out a square jade talisman. The jade talisman is extremely thick. On its surface, very complicated runes appeared, and a burst of berserk power surged out. Heavenly talisman. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. That is a talisman made from heavenly runes. Its power is indeed very strong. He promptly opened his heavenly eye. His eyes flickered with blue lightning and shot out two strange light beams that locked onto the heavenly talisman. The heavenly talisman was hit by the blue light beam. Originally, it was trembling and was about to erupt with power, but it immediately cracked. The heavenly talisman was destroyed by Qin Yun. The power of the heavenly eye is very strong. It can directly destroy heavenly runes. Otherwise, if the heavenly talisman exploded, it would definitely produce a very great power. Maybe even the 9-yang divine palace would be affected. The inscription Do Wang is incomparably shocked in his heart. He is constantly cursing. He really did not expect that someone could so easily destroy the heavenly talisman's operation. The person in front of him is simply a peerless monster. In his heart, he regrets attacking the 9-yang divine palace. Qin Yun's 2 fingers flickered with golden light and pointed forward. The moment the 2 fingers trembled, a very thick golden light beam shot out. The golden light beam brought along a scorching hot power and hit the inscription Do Wang's body. After the inscription Do Wang was hit, his body did not explode. However, many golden cracks suddenly appeared on the surface of his body. His body is cracking. His body overflowed with a very strong golden light. Boom! The inscription Do Wang's body is like glass falling to the ground. It suddenly shattered and let out a very clear and melodious sound. This is heaven extinguishing 9 fingers, sun shattering. If the person or thing that is hit is unable to block it immediately, they will be shattered. What kind of move is that? The Sword Hall elder shouted in shock. With just 1 finger, he shattered the inscription Do Wang like a porcelain cup falling to the ground. Qin Yun used transcending void step. His body flashed and instantly arrived beside the dozens of huge ships. The heavenly Lion Dao image in his body suddenly surged with a fierce aura. The entire heavenly Lion Dao image rushed into his arm. Whoosh! A burst of gale whistled. Qin Yun waved his hand and grabbed. An incomparably huge golden heavenly lion claw appeared. That heavenly lion claw is so big that it seems like it can crush a star. The heavenly lion fighting dragon claw, which is like a huge umbrella that covers the sky, fiercely grabbed at the few huge black warships. Boom! The lion claw grabbed over and pulled back with great force. Those black warships were torn to pieces. Moreover, they're still burning with flames. The fragments floated down from the sky. Yang, grab the biggest ship. Qin Yun shouted. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil is inside the biggest golden ship. Without Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil, it is impossible to capture the Heavenly Lion King. The black warships of the Outer Heaven Alliance army have already been destroyed by Yang. The ground is filled with burning fragments and all kinds of burnt corpses of the Outer Heaven Alliance army. And the biggest golden ship is currently fleeing in panic. Its speed is very fast, but it is not faster than the 9th Heaven Xian Sparrow. The 9th Heaven Xian Sparrow chased after it for a while. Then it frantically flapped its wings and shot out waves of ferocious lightning flame. The barrier on the surface of the golden ship is still firm. Even though it is wrapped by the ferocious lightning flame, the inside of the ship is not affected. Qin Yun appeared in the sky wearing the heaven-trampling god boots and then dropped down from the sky. Seeing Qin Yun drop down, Yang also stopped attacking. Qin Yun dropped down like a meteor. As he rushed down, the small pistol in his hand shot out a spatial cannonball. When the spatial cannonball shot down, it created a very strong spatial fluctuation. This is to prevent the golden ship from traveling through space. The golden ship was indeed traveling through space, but it was interrupted by Qin Yun. Qin Yun landed on the barrier of the golden ship. The instant the heaven-trampling god boots hit the barrier, an extremely ferocious destructive power burst out. The barrier was heavily stomped by the heaven-trampling god boots, causing it to collapse. Boom, boom, boom. When the barrier collapsed, airwaves surged and thunder rumbled. Qin Yun finally landed on the golden ship. He slashed at the ship with the myriad heaven divine saber in his hand. The powerful saber aura, with ferocious and arrogant 9 meridians divine power, landed in the middle of the ship. The huge ship was torn apart by the saber aura and split in the middle. Lightning flame surged in all directions and rumbled. At the same time, powerful auras surged out from the ship. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil and company are also somewhat afraid of Qin Yun, so they did not fight him head-on. But now that their ships have been destroyed, they have no choice but to fight him. The people in the Nine Yang Divine Palace are all extremely shocked. This Nine Yang Palace King really did not need help. He led his divine bird and charged into the million-strong divine army. He directly killed 1,000,000-strong enemies and destroyed thousands of huge warships. Qin Yun, don't think that we are really afraid of you. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil appeared. He was a tall and skinny old man with a head full of red hair. He wore purple gold heavenly armor and the purple-gold divine universe sword in his hand was very large and long. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil floated in the air with a huge sword in his hand. He had a kind of evil and powerful might. Heavenly Law Divine Realm, you will never be able to repay what you owe me, Qin Yun said coldly. We can suppress you for a few lifetimes, so we can continue to suppress you. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil laughed loudly. Qin Yun, do you think that with a bit of power, you can flaunt your martial prowess? In front of the heavenly Tao, in front of the powerful ancient races, you are still pitifully weak. Behind Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil, there were a few old men. The Outer Heaven Alliance armies, Saint God, the Dark Race's Emperor, and the Divine Sword Race's 3 old marquises. Qin Yun's expression was cold. His eyes flashed with blue light. The heavenly blood in his body surged wildly. The myriad heaven divine saber in his hand trembled. The powerful 9 meridians divine power combined with the heavenly blood and the myriad heaven divine saber. Even Qin Yun's powerful body felt a stabbing pain. It's you who are pitifully weak. Qin Yun raised his hand and slashed down. The violent and powerful divine power exploded, directly causing the earth to split open a crack that was hundreds of meters long. This slash could be said to be earth-shattering. The violent blade wind engulfed heaven and earth. The aura, comparable to the might of heaven, exploded in all directions, causing the heaven and earth to change color. In that instant, Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil seemed to be able to see an incomparably terrifying image of the heavenly Tao in Qin Yun's blue eyes. Qin Yun was actually someone who cultivated the image of the heavenly Tao. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil could also see that the heavenly I had already been obtained by Qin Yun. The enemy of the heavenly Tao could obtain the heavenly I. Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil instantly felt all sorts of emotions. He found it hard to believe that the heavenly Tao actually bestowed the heavenly I to this enemy of the heavenly Tao, and not to them, the heavenly emperors and heavenly mothers. When Qin Yun's blade fell, Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil did not block or dodge, because he knew that he would die without a doubt. The instant Qin Yun slashed, Heavenly Emperor Imperial Evil saw many things. He even knew what kind of existence Qin Yun was. This kind of existence was not something he could shake. Chapter 22-22. After the Heavenly Emperor Yu Xie was killed, it shook the Qin clan emperor and the experts of the Divine Sword Race, because the Heavenly Emperor Yu Xie was quite famous. Although he only obtained the bloodline of a powerful race later on, he was still the strongest heavenly emperor in the heavenly law divine realm. Qin Yun used the 9-sun divine spirit to release the sun heavenly shield and fought evenly with the 3 divine sword race marquises. This scene caused Shen Changhao to be dumbstruck. Shen Ruoming cursed in a low voice. This bastard, when did he become so strong? The first time I saw him, he was not my match at all. But now, he can fight evenly with the 3 sword marquises of the divine sword race. What Shen Ruoming said was true. At that time, it would have been very difficult for Qin Yun to defeat him. But now, not long after, Qin Yun has become so powerful. This guy, how did he cultivate? How could he become so strong in such a short period of time? Shen Changhao found it hard to believe that this was true. Previously, Shen Ruoming was defeated by Qin Yun in an instant. Now, even if Qin Yun gave Shen Ruoming a few moves, he would not be able to defeat Qin Yun. Seeing Qin Yun's strength, Bai Si and the Sword Hall Elder felt a lot more at ease. They were very worried that something would happen to the Palace King who had returned. With the Nanyang Palace King around, they felt that they had enough security. They did not have to live in fear like before. The Qin clan emperor and the others had already rescued the Heavenly Lion King. As for Yang Yang, she was still in the sky, fighting with the remaining experts from the Outer Heaven Realm and the other experts who had not died. The Dark Race Emperor was now going to deal with Yang Yang. Yang Yang had just annihilated the entire Dark Royal Race's army in an instant. As the ancestor emperor of the Dark Royal Race, he naturally wished that he could exterminate Yang Yang. Most of the Alliance Army's ships were destroyed by Yang Yang. Therefore, the powerful sacred gods of the Alliance Army were all rushing towards Yang Yang to besiege this powerful divine bird. Qin Yun was not worried about Yang Yang. Yang Yang was a sun soul and could borrow the power of the myriad realms' divine Sunday. Furthermore, she had absorbed a large amount of divine universe purple chi from the divine universe purple chi. Qin Yun still found it very difficult to face the three sword marquises of the divine sword race. These three old sword marquises had strong divine power and profound sword techniques. This kind of old sword xiao with rich battle experience was very difficult to deal with. Qin Yun originally planned on using the Nine-Dragon Heavenly Origins array to fight, but he discovered that the intrinsic swords of the three sword marquises were very powerful. They were strong enough to destroy the altar. Once the altar was destroyed, it would be difficult to repair it. Qin Yun did not wish for the altar to be damaged before entering the blue sky cosmos. Shun Changhao, who was standing in front of the Nine Yang Divine Palace's entrance, frowned and said, "Although the Nine Yang Palace King's strength is not bad, he mainly relies on his equipment. His saber and that shield are both very strong. If he didn't rely on these, he would not be a match for the three sword marquises." As expected of the three great sword marquis of the divine sword race, their joint attack is flawless. Shun Ruoming said, "If Qin Yun uses the Nine-Dragon Heavenly Origin formation, he might be able to defeat them." Shun Changhao shook his head and said, "Even if we release the Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation, it won't work." The three sword marquises came prepared. If the Nine Yang Palace King releases the Nine Dragons Heaven Origin formation, they will definitely have a way to deal with it. Back at the Sword Sun God Mountain, the reason why those powerful races were beaten up by Qin Yun was mainly because they suffered losses from the Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation. They have a good understanding of the Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation, and as powerful ancient races, they will definitely be able to come up with a plan to deal with it in a short period of time. Now, those three sword marquises are definitely waiting for Qin Yun to release the formation and then take the opportunity to destroy the Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation. Qin Huayu became somewhat anxious and said in low voice, "Shao Qin is after all the Nine Yang Palace King. If you go and help him, he will remember this favor. It's not that we don't want to help, it's that our powerful races have a tacit understanding. We won't casually fight." Shun Changhao said, "The reason why they haven't attacked the Nine Yang Divine Palace on a large scale is also because of our divine heaven race. If they attack the Nine Yang Divine Palace, it means that they will start a war with the divine heaven race. They are afraid of our divine heaven race. So without absolute certainty and sufficient preparation, they won't act recklessly." Shun Ruoming said, "How about this? We give some benefits to your divine heaven race, and you go and help them." The Sword Hall elder said, "The strength of the Nine Yang Divine Palace and the Nine Yang Royal Race can be considered top-notch under the powerful races. However, when facing a powerful race, only Qin Yun can fight. The benefits you are giving are too little. It is not enough for us to anger the divine sword race." Shun Changhao said, "Moreover, if the Nine Yang Palace King can't beat them, he can come back and hide. There is no need to continue fighting with them." Shun Ruoming nodded and said, "He can come back and hide. With our divine heaven race here, the divine sword race won't dare to attack. If we take the initiative to attack the divine sword race's three sword marquises, then they might launch a large-scale attack on the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Your situation will be even more dangerous. Divine Heaven Race has their own reasons for not going out to help. The Dragon Palace Elder and the others all know that because the Divine Heaven Race lost, they have to stay behind to protect the Nine Yang Divine Palace. They already have resentment in their hearts. Qin Yun is currently hesitating whether or not to release the Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation. He also guessed that the Divine Sword Race's three sword marquises have a method to break the Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation. The Nine Dragons Heavenly Origin formation is very powerful, but it does not mean that it is invincible. In the Divine Desolate, there is no such thing as invincible. You three marquises from powerful races are besieging a little profound god like me. Don't you feel ashamed? Qin Yun dodged and blocked while ridiculing. Nanyang Palace King, you killed our Sword King war god. No matter what cultivation you have, you are the enemy of our divine sword race. Don't talk about shame when dealing with enemies. A sword marquis said with sneer. You should give up resisting and obediently follow us back to serve your sentence. If they could capture Qin Yun, even if they have deep hatred, they would not be willing to kill him. Because everyone knows that Qin Yun has purple blood and many powerful equipment. Even though his cultivation is low, he can fight against powerful sacred gods. Even those experts from powerful races are envious. Just as Qin Yun was planning to let Yang Yang retreat, he suddenly sensed a powerful killing intent pervading the air. Qin Yun feels that this killing intent is very familiar. Yuan. Qin Yun is pleasantly surprised but also secretly worried, because Xiao Yuan will definitely participate in the battle if she comes. He is worried that she will be injured. Suddenly, a miserable scream came from Yang Yang's side. Everyone immediately looked over. Xiao Yuan appeared on Yang Yang's side. She is wearing white skin-tight clothes. Her ponytail is fluttering in the wind. Her ice-cold and absolutely beautiful face is filled with killing intent. Her entire body is releasing an extremely violent and tyrannical aura, accompanied by intense killing intent. She is holding a long saber in her hand that is dripping with black blood. As soon as she appeared, she quickly chopped off the Dark Race Emperor's hands and feet. The Dark Race Emperor also obtained Primal Chaos Bloodline, Divine Origin. As the Dark Royal Race Emperor, his strength is naturally not weak. But now he was instantly chopped into a human stick by a woman. Xiao Yuan is 9-Sun Divine Maiden. She possesses an extremely mysterious and formidable ability that allows her to copy other people's power. For example, she just used a very powerful, suffering divine ability power to enter the Dark Race Emperor's body. That is why the Dark Race Emperor is in so much pain. Xiao Yuan's ice-cold eyes flickered with cold light. Even though they are very far away, when they come into contact with her gaze, they can feel their bodies turn cold. They can only feel a kind of ruthless killing intent rushing towards them. Qin Yun immediately felt a lot more relieved. Because Xiao Yuan can kill the Dark Race Emperor, it means that she is also very strong. It's Yuan. Qin Huayu shouted in amazement. Xiao Yuan is Qin Yun's wife. Her strength is also unfathomable. Back in the Medicine King Alliance, Granny Qianghua and others already saw Xiao Yuan's strength. Xiao Yuan immediately flew towards Qin Yun's side. Her eyes burst with red light. Her Sacred Pupil's ability can release a very strong mental attack red light. This red light has very strong penetrating power. It entered the head of a sword marquis and caused him incomparable pain. Qin Yun also tried to use mental power attack earlier, but these old sword marquis are very protective of their souls. It is very difficult to break through their soul defense. However, Xiao Yuan can easily break through their soul defense through her Sacred Pupil. While the old sword marquis is in pain, Qin Yun directly chopped him down with his saber. The other two sword marquis are horrified and immediately dodged at lightning speed, dodging the red light that shot towards them in succession. There are only two sword marquis left, and Xiao Yuan has also joined the fray. Qin Yun immediately relaxed a lot. This woman who suddenly appeared and helped Qin Yun kill a sword marquis has caused no small commotion. Divine Sword Clan suffered heavy losses this time. Shen Changhao sighed and said, "That woman, what is her background? She seems to be 9-Sun Divine Maiden. Her mental power is very strong. She can actually penetrate the defense of a sword marquis. She is Xiao Qin's wife." Granny Qianghua said, 9-Sun Divine Maiden? His wife? Shen Ruoming is very astonished because he met Bing Xing before. Bing Xing and Qin Yun's relationship is very good. Two 9-Sun Divine Maidens actually have good relationship with a 9-Sun Palace King. After Xiao Yuan arrived, she sent voice transmission to Qin Yun. "Xiao Yun, Release the formation. Don't let them run. Qin Yun finally released the 9 altars. The 9-dragon heavenly origin formation surrounded the 2-sword marquee. 3 heavenly talismans immediately appeared in their hands. Heavenly talismans. Qin Yun is apprehensive. He used his heavenly eye to attack the talismans in their hands. The 9-dragon heavenly origin formation operated, sealed the 2-sword marquee, and attacked them crazily. The 6 heavenly talismans in the hands of the 2-sword marquee flickered and burst out with a very special light, causing the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation to immediately stop. Qin Yun did not stop them from activating the heavenly talismans. However, the 2 red light beams shot out by Xiao Yulan's sacred pupil smoothly hit their souls. Chapter 22-23. The 3 sword marquises of the divine sword race were killed just like that. Shen Changhao watched with trepidation and couldn't help but take a few deep breaths. He, Shen Ruoming, and the other elders of the Divine Heaven clan looked at each other in dismay. The marquises of the divine sword race have been killed, and 3 of them at that. This will definitely alarm the dukes. This caused Shen Changhao and the others to feel great pressure because the dukes and even the dukes of the divine sword race might come to attack the 9-yang divine palace. They originally thought that Qin Yun was no match for the 3 sword marquises and could only run back to the 9-yang divine palace to hide. But suddenly, a woman came out and used her sacred eye to help Qin Yun kill the 3 sword marquises. This is something that no one expected. Even Qin Yun himself didn't expect it to be so easy. Yang Yang flew back and turned into a cute little girl, throwing herself into Xiao Yulan's embrace. Xiao Yulan smiled coquettishly and pinched her little face. Who would have thought that this cute little girl would burn millions of living beings to death and destroy many of the Outer Heaven Alliance's giant ships? Yang Yang said a few words to Xiao Yulan in her childish voice and returned to the divine universe purple sun to rest. Actually, it was to fill her stomach. Qin Yun held Xiao Yulan's hand and happily flew back to the 9-yang divine palace. Behind them, it is still filled with flames. Countless giant ships of the Alliance army have fallen to the ground, as well as various kinds of charred lizard dragons and corpses. And this will definitely become a large garbage dump, attracting many people to come and pick up trash. The golden ship of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm is a very good thing. There are also all kinds of magic treasures and divine tools left behind by the dead experts. Therefore, the first to go and pick up treasures are the people of the 9-yang divine palace and the 9-yang royal family. When Qin Yun returned to the 9-yang divine palace, he found out that the heavenly Lion King had fallen asleep. The pill god and the medicine god are helping the heavenly Lion King heal. The pill god and the medicine god are helping to heal. They have very precious, healing divine pills in their hands, which made Qin Yun feel very relieved. After killing the 3 sword marquises, Qin Yun brought Xiao Yulan to the heavenly palace with a relaxed expression. Xiao Yun, is your 9-dragon heavenly origin formation all right? Xiao Yulan said. Those guys' talismans can actually stop your 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Those altars didn't have any problem. After all, they are heavenly talismans. They have formidable heavenly rune power. Qin Yun recalled and said with sigh, those guys are truly prepared. Fortunately, he waited for Xiao Yulan to appear before using the 9 dragons' heavenly origin formation. Otherwise, if he used it ahead of time, it would be troublesome if he was surrounded and stopped. Xiao Yulan pulled Qin Yun's arm and entered the Heaven Palace Pavilion. The little temple spirit did not disturb the couple. Qin Yun is very surprised that Xiao Yulan would suddenly come over. Therefore, he brought her into the secret room to discuss some matters with her. Yulan, you should have heard about the myriad heaven divine sword, right? Qin Yun said, I heard about it. You're going there to fight, but you're definitely not going for that lousy sword. When Xiao Yulan mentioned this matter, she is still somewhat angry. She said, Sister Yan's sun and moon twin dragon swords were snatched away by those bastards. They really shouldn't have died so easily. Qin Yun said with a smile. Have you returned to Moon Palace? Xiao Yuelon nodded and said, I've returned. Sister Yan's sun and Moon Twin Dragon swords were just sent back. I watched her fuse with her own origin sword. Qin Yin handed over the sun and Moon Twin Dragon swords to you, and asked her to send them back to Moon Palace. Yuelon, has your goddess mission been completed? How come you have time to come here? Qin Yin asked. Those lousy missions come one after another, and they're all lousy matters. Xiao Yuelon said in a very bad mood, and leaned on Qin Yin's bosom. Is it dangerous? Do you need my help? Qin Yin asked. No need, it's just that it's a bit troublesome. The main thing is to run around the myriad heaven divine desolate, find a few places, and then coordinate with the myriad realms divine sun to set up a formation. Xiao Yuelon stretched her waist in Qin Yin's bosom. What will happen if I don't do it? Qin Yin caressed her face and asked. It doesn't matter if I don't do it. I won't get the reward from the myriad realms divine Sunday. I'm so strong because of the power given by the myriad realms divine sun. Xiao Yuelon leaned on Qin Yun's chest and said with a smile, Xiao Yun, you've improved so fast. How about we fight and see who's stronger? Qin Yun said with a smile, No need to fight. I'm definitely stronger than you. Xiao Yuelon said with a smile, I don't believe it. How would I know if I don't fight? Come on. Don't fight, don't fight. How can I bear to attack my beautiful wife? Qin Yun chuckled, then lowered his head and kissed Xiao Yuelon's face. How about we switch to another way to fight, husband and wife fight. Let's see who's stronger. Xiao Yuelon's elegant and moving face suddenly blushed. Her beautiful eyes flickered with a charming look. The previously murderous and ice-cold female devil is now extremely flirtatious, overflowing with charm. Her entire body is filled with a delicate fragrance that can captivate one's soul. Qin Yin looked at Xiao Yuelon and suddenly felt that Xiao Yuelon has also obtained Lu Yu Shuyin's true inheritance. In terms of charm, Lu Yu Shuyin can be said to be the strongest woman Qin Yin has ever seen. One must know that Lu Yu Shuyin is a god of slaughter. In terms of charm, although Xiao Yuelon is slightly inferior to Lu Yu Shuyin, is still very deadly. Are we going to fight or not? Xiao Yuelon's beautiful eyes are filled with tender and charming waves, she said with a low chuckle. Qin Yin took a few deep breaths, trying to calm down. Soon after, the young couple did not even fight. Instead, they loved each other sweetly, cherishing the beautiful moment of reunion between husband and wife, enjoying the sweet love of lovers. Late at night, Qin Yin and Xiao Yuelon hugged each other. Qin Yin suddenly got up and put on his clothes. He took out the Imperial Heaven diagram and spread it out on the table. Xiao Yuelon also came over. While wearing her dress, she looked at the Imperial Heaven diagram on the table. She is very familiar with this Imperial Heaven diagram because a portion of it has been with her for many years. This is the blue sky cosmos. As Qin Yin spoke, he took out a blue crystal card and said, This was given to me by the Divine Moon Clan's great emperor. I've seen Xiaoxi before. She told me about this matter. I've also seen Hua Shui. I heard she's your little sister. Xiao Yuelon smiled tenderly and said, Then she's also my little sister. Qin Yin patted her butt and said with a smile, You female rogue, did you take liberties with her? We're all women. She doesn't mind. Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. Qin Yin said sternly, Yuelon, how much do you know about the Divine Moon Clan? Is it true that their Divine Moon bloodline, divine origin, can't be fused by men? Xiao Yuelon also understood Qin Yin's cultivation situation. He had reached a very difficult bottleneck. If his body was unable to improve, he would not be able to open the final Xian God, Dao Meridian, which is also the Xian God, Dao Meridian of the Heavenly Dao. Xiao Yuelon said, That's not it. Xiaoxi and Hua Shui don't know about another situation. Men can actually fuse with the Divine Moon bloodline, divine origin. Really? Qin Yin said somewhat excitedly. Divine Star Race, Divine Sword Race, and Divine Moon Race. If I fuse with these three bloodline divine origin, I will definitely be able to open the 10th Xian God, Dao Meridian, You should first get the bloodline divine origin of divine star race and divine sword race. It will be a bit difficult for divine moon race. Xiao Yuelon said. How difficult? Qin Yun said. Sister Bingxing and Sister Shuyan are both 9-sun divine maidens. They should be able to obtain very high status in divine moon race. With their help, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Qin Yun guessed that to fuse with the divine moon bloodline divine origin, he would need divine moon race's secret technique or something. I want to find Xiaoxi before. After learning about the situation, I contacted Sister Karu. Sister Karu said that if you want to fuse with divine moon race bloodline divine origin, you will need the help of divine moon race's emperor. Xiao Yuelon said. Then I asked Hua Shui to contact her master, divine moon race's emperor. However, Hua Shui said that divine moon race's emperor will definitely not help. Qin Yun said with frown, divine moon race's emperor is very lacking in divine universe golden stones. Can't I give her divine universe golden stones? I have a lot of divine universe golden stones. Xiao Yuelon shook her head and said, she made it very clear that she would never help. He didn't say why he wouldn't help. Then what did Sister Kiru say? Qin Yun said again, Sister Kiru should know why she didn't help, right? Sister Kiru also doesn't know. She only knows that the Divine Moon Clan's great emperor has mastered a secret technique that allows men to fuse with divine moon bloodline, divine origin. Xiao Yuelon's beautiful eyes flickered with a smile as she said, I suspect that it might be. You know, what could it be? Asked Qin Yun curiously. Idiot, don't you understand? Xiao Yuelon pinched Qin Yun's waist and said with a smile, you're still pretending to be honest. Qin Yun carefully thought about it and said in shock, don't tell me. You want me and the Divine Moon Clan's emperor to pooey. The Divine Moon Clan's emperor must be very old. Divine Moon Clan's empress is a beauty. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. No matter how beautiful she is not as beautiful as my Yuelon. Qin Yun hugged Xiao Yuelon and said with a smile, it's just my guess. Anyway, you have to work hard and settle the Divine Moon Tribe's emperor. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. As for me, I've already successfully infiltrated the Divine Moon Clan. There are so many beauties inside. I want to spend some time in the Divine Moon Clan. Qin Yun pinched her waist and scolded with a smile. Why are you so bad? Just like Yuner. Xiao Yuelon rubbed her waist and asked, Xiao Yun, when are you leaving for Blue Heavenly Universe? Divine Moon Clan has already set off. Boss Ye will be back in a few days. I'll wait for him to come back and then set off. Qin Yun said, he's going to help me pull the Jian family people over. I'll go with you. Xiao Yuelon said, if nothing unexpected happens, we might meet Yuan Mei. That girl Yuan Mei wants to go to Blue Heavenly Universe? Qin Yun said in surprise. I met her before. She said she had a mission to enter Blue Heavenly Universe. She really wanted to find you, but she seemed to have some urgent matter and left. Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun nodded and said, I also miss her. It's been a long time since I pinched her face. Moreover, I want to find her to help me refine a world extermination spirit. Chapter 22-24. Knowing that Xiao Yuanmei would be going to Blue Sky Universe, Qin Yun wanted to rush over immediately. He had promised Xie Wufeng, Yunlong, and the Divine Judge to go together. Yinlong also wanted to know the situation inside the blue sky, but he didn't know where it was. Xiao Yuelon wants to see Qin Yun's control over the Imperial Heaven Diagram. Qin Yun pressed his hand on the Imperial Heaven Diagram, and through the Imperial Heaven Diagram, he could absorb energy. When the time came, he would have to use this method to open the 10th profound God Dao Meridian. I don't know enough about the Imperial Sky Diagram. Qin Yun's eyes overflowed with blue light. He obtained the Empyrean Inscription Spirit and opened his heavenly eye to see the Imperial Heaven Diagram's heavenly runes. Don't worry, this Imperial Heaven Diagram is a very mysterious thing. Sister Kiru also said that she used many years to discover more secrets. Xiao Yuelon said. Following that, Qin Yun brought Xiao Yuelon around the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. To Xiao Yuelon, this Nine-Yang Divine Palace was equivalent to her home. Little Palace Spirit also followed Qin Yun. She knows Xiao Yuelon, but Xiao Yuelon doesn't know her. At daybreak, Yu Tian arrived. After learning that Yu Tian came, Xiao Yuelon is also very happy because she has not seen Yu Tian for a period of time. When Qin Yun brought Yu Tian to the Heavenly Palace, when Xiao Yuelon saw this gentle and sweet beauty, she hugged and hugged her. Yu Tian became the Heaven Creation Palace Master and wore a noble and dignified snow-white dress. She had a gentle and sweet smile on her face, which was why she didn't have the imposing manner of a palace master. She had the same appearance as Bing Xing and Yu Shi. If Bing Xing or Yu Shi were to wear this dress, it would give off the imposing aura of the Heaven Creation Palace Master. Yu Tian, do you have any news about Blue Sky Universe? Qin Yun asked. The Heaven Creation Divine Palace knows a bit about the Blue Sky Universe's outer world inheritance. It is a very powerful inscription inheritance. As for the specifics, the Heaven Creation God Palace is not too clear. They only know that this kind of rune is called Heavenly Law Divine Rune. Yu Tian said, Heavenly Law Divine Rune. Qin Yun said with a frown, It sounds quite powerful. Yes, I have read many ancient books of the Heaven Creating Deity Palace, but there are no accurate records. Yu Tian continued, Big Brother Yun, I won't be going to Blue Sky Universe. I still have some things to do in the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Yu Tian, are there many beauties in the Heaven Creation Divine Palace? Xiao Yuelon pulled Yu Tian's hand and giggled. Not many, not as many as our Moon Palace, and not as beautiful as the beauties of our Moon Palace. Yu Tian chuckled and said, Sister Yulan, you and your little husband are together. Why are you still thinking about beauties? I'll go to the Heaven Creation Divine Palace another day. I want to see with my own eyes if there are really no beauties. Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. Yu Tian did not stay for long. She chatted with Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun for a while before returning to the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Qin Yun patted Xiao Yuelon's butt and asked, Yuelon, where's the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother from before? I remember asking her to follow you. Did you lose her? I didn't lose her. She's in the Guanghan Palace and is now Big Sister Yang's little follower. She wants to have a child with you all day long. Xiao Yuelon laughed. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother often mentioned this to Qin Yun before. Qin Yun always felt that this kind of thing is strange, so he never paid attention to her. At noon, Xiao Wufeng also returned. He brought a group of sword cultivators from the Jian family, Jian Shitian, Jian Nanhu, and the others. Although their appearances have changed slightly, he can still recognize them. When Qin Yun saw them, he told them about the past. Talking about the past, Jian Nanhu sighed incessantly. Moreover, he is filled with regret because he often lost to Qin Yun before and never won. Now he has no chance to win. The Sword Hall elder warmly welcomed the Jian family sword cultivators into the Sword Hall. Soon after, Qin Yun carved sword totems for the 10 disciples selected by the Sword Hall. The outstanding disciples of the Jian family also obtained sword totems. In the next 2 to 3 days, Qin Yun mainly helped the people of the Dragon Hall, Sword Hall, and Beast Hall carve rune totems. This can increase their strength. After the Heavenly Lion King fainted for 2 days, he finally woke up and told Qin Yun many things. What surprised Qin Yun was that among the myriad realms' divine sons, there was a very powerful Heavenly Lion Patriarch. Qin Yun naturally remembered Patriarch Skylion. Back then, Patriarch Skylion had mentioned that he was sealed inside the sun. If he wanted to escape, he had to wait for the sun to fall. But now, the myriad realms' divine son had appeared, and old ancestor Heavenly Lion was still sealed inside. The Heavenly Lion King was able to contact the Heavenly Lion Old Ancestor and learn a lot about the situation. The Heavenly Lion Old Ancestor was also becoming stronger. Even though he was sealed, he could absorb the energy within the myriad realms' divine Yang land. Qin Yun contacted Yunlong through the Divine King Heavenly Seal, but Yunlong did not appear. The Divine Judge also did not come. Qin Yun was in a hurry to head for the blue sky universe. Xia Wufeng had Qin Yun's soul-chasing talisman in his hands, so he decided to stay in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace to wait for the Divine Judge and Yunlong. He let Qin Yun go to Blue Sky Universe first and walk in front to investigate the situation. The heaven-leaping shuttle flew through the air, occasionally passing through space. Inside the heavenly leaping shuttle, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon held their weapons in their hands, ready for battle. Because along the way, there was a high chance that they would encounter people from powerful ancient races. If the heavenly leaping shuttle was discovered and sealed by them, they would need to go out to fight. Yuelon, do you think the clan emperors of the powerful ancient races will go to Blue Sky Universe? Qin Yun asked. Huaxue said that her master might go, but she's not too sure. Xiao Yuelon said, if a powerful race's clan emperor goes, then the other powerful race's clan emperors will definitely go as well. Although at present, only the powerful ancient races know about Blue Sky Universe. After they enter, there's a possibility that there will be disputes. When there is a dispute, if there's a clan emperor holding the fort and the other races don't, they will definitely suffer. Even if there is no clan emperor, there's still their kings and dukes. This is also very difficult to deal with. Qin Yun released the 9 small altars. Xiao Yuelon sighed and said, Xiao Yun, they have some understanding of your 9-dragon heavenly origin formation and have already grasped the method to deal with it. The 9-dragon heavenly origin formation is Qin Yun's greatest trump card. Previously, when Qin Yun fought with the 3 sword marquises of the Divine Sword race, they used a kind of heavenly talisman to suppress it, causing the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation to temporarily lose effectiveness. Qin Yun can't think of a way to break it, unless he can instantly make their heavenly talismans lose effectiveness, but this is very difficult to do because once they have a lot of heavenly talismans, it will be very difficult to deal with. Unless I can use powerful dragon pearls to coordinate with the altars and make a new 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Qin Yun also has a few Divine Universe dragon pearls in his hands, but it is far from enough. The strongest 9-dragon heavenly origin formation uses 9 divine suns. Xiao Yuelon is in the main control room. She suddenly looked at the myriad realms' divine sun in the sky and said, the 3rd little divine sun should appear soon. What? Without waiting for the second one to grow up, the 3rd one will appear? Qin Yun said in shock. 1 great divine sun, 8 little divine suns. This way we can form a formation first. Xiao Yuelon said. At that time, these 9 divine suns will cooperate with the divine desolate to form a very large formation. Xiao Yuelon is the 9-sun divine maiden. Their current mission is to help complete this great formation. Siekaru's mission is the most arduous, so she is very busy. However, this will also allow her to obtain even greater power. If all the divine suns appear, then the divine desolate might become even more powerful. Qin Yun said, all kinds of strange flowers and plants will grow even faster. With enough pills, we can become even stronger. That's right, but it also means that even more powerful creatures and races will appear. Xiao Yuelon's eyes revealed a kind of worry as she said, Xiao Yun, I am more worried about you. Qin Yun held her hand and said with a smile, there's nothing to worry about. After so many years, don't you know my situation? I'm worried about you guys. Earlier, Shen Ruoming said that you 9-sun divine, maiden transformation realm, or something. Don't worry about it. Xiao Yuelon said, our 9-sun divine maiden's mission is to protect you. We won't leave you. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I also want to protect you. It's all the same. Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. Qin Yun suddenly said solemnly, Yuelon, prepare to go through space. Sit tight. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun sat on the same chair. She immediately hugged Qin Yun's waist tightly. The heaven-leaping shuttle has traveled through space many times, and every time it was very stable. However, there were still unexpected situations. For example, after traveling through space, they would encounter a powerful enemy. Or after traveling through space, they would fall into other dangerous spaces. Therefore, Qin Yin told Xiao Yuelon to prepare every time before traveling. Qin Yin used the small pistol in his hand and shot out a very strong spatial power into the heaven-leaping shuttle, allowing it to absorb it. After the heaven-leaping shuttle absorbed it, it began traveling through space. The heaven-leaping shuttle slightly trembled and entered the spatial passage. However, this time it was not as smooth as before. After traveling through space, the heaven-leaping shuttle arrived in a space surrounded by golden light. Something unexpected happened. Qin Yin is actually very calm as he looked around. Although this space is filled with golden mist, it is very stable and there is no spatial turbulence. Brother, long time no see. You've finally arrived at the God world. Suddenly a hearty laughter came out. Brother. Qin Yin heard that voice and felt extremely surprised. It is the voice of the space god. The space god said with a smile, "You are also very awesome. You can actually control the power of space Xian ants." Qin Yin promptly brought Xiao Yuelon to the heaven-leaping shuttle. Soon after, a white-robed old man appeared on the heaven-leaping shuttle in a flash. He looked at Qin Yin with a smile on his face. "Greetings, big brother." Xiao Yuelon greeted with a smile. The space god has been missing for a very long time. After the appearance of myriad heavens god Desolate, the spatial laws changed greatly. The space god lost control of space and became useless. Brother, it seems like you did not become a trash like the rumors said. Qin Yin looked around and said with a smile, "You are doing better than I imagined." The space god chuckled and said, "What? Do you really think that I become a destitute old man?" I am not bragging. If I wanted to, I could destroy the entire Myriad Realms divine court with one hand. Chapter 22-25. Qin Yin knows where the blue heavenly universe is. Furthermore, he has a mysterious blue crystal card in his hand. He can easily enter the blue heavenly universe. Big brother, what is this place? Qin Yin said. He can sense that this space is very powerful. The golden energy inside comes from the divine power of the Myriad Realms divine Sunday, space god said with smile. This is my lair. I have already mastered spatial divine power. Xiao Yuelon said. Then can we get some communication magic tools? If we have this, it will be much more convenient. Right now, they can only communicate with each other through Divine Moon. This is rather troublesome. They need to wait for Divine Moon to appear. No, Divine Desolate space is not stable. It changes at every moment. Spatial communication divine tools can be used today, but they might not be able to be used tomorrow. Space God shook his head and said, I also need to comprehend the changes of the spatial laws every day in order to maintain the use of spatial divine power. Yes, little Queen Anne also told me that. Therefore, even she needs to keep up with the changes of spatial divine power. Qin Yin said, Queen Ant, you have a spatial Xian Ant Queen? Space God is extremely astonished. That's right, Qin Yin said with a smile. It's just a little Queen Ant. Space God's face is filled with envy and jealousy. He curled his lips and said, There's no justice in this world. I can't even catch a spatial Xian Ant, yet you can get a spatial Queen Ant. I am the Space God. When has there ever been justice in this world? Qin Yin said with a laugh. You bastard, your life is so good. Space God scolded with a smile. Then I won't enter the blue heavenly universe with you this time. I don't want all the good things to be taken away by you. Big brother, is the inheritance from beyond the heavens in the blue heavenly universe really that strong? Xiao Yuelon asked. She is also very curious about the inheritance from beyond the heavens. The blue heavenly universe is a space. It is the inheritance of other cultivation civilizations from beyond the heavens that came to our side. After many years of research, those ancient races let them come into contact with the cultivation civilizations from beyond the heavens. Space God nodded and said, Then who does the inheritance from beyond the heavens in the blue heavenly universe belong to? Qin Yin took out the mysterious blue crystal card and looked at the heavenly runes on it. It belongs to the entire gods desolate. The god of space said, let's put it this way. The myriad realms divine sun has integrated the divine wasteland and the divine moon of the heavens, which is equivalent to the myriad realms divine sun, being able to completely control the sky in this area. So the myriad realms divine sun can communicate with the outer space and obtain its help. Qin already knew that be it the 9 heavenly suns from before or the current myriad realms divine sun, they all had their own consciousness. Being able to become a myriad realms divine sun was the result of the previous 9 heavenly suns cultivation. Let me remind you that although the god desolate has appeared in the blue sky, the myriad realms divine sun will not interfere with the ownership of those inheritances from beyond the heavens. The space god said, this means that the competition will be very intense, and we can only rely on our own abilities to obtain it. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan nodded. They had discussed what kind of experts would come from the ancient races on the way here. Also, other than the powerful primordial races, there might be many other creatures that will come, because there are many inheritances in the blue sky, and it's impossible for only a small group of people to obtain them. The space god said again, brother, what kind of powerful creatures and races are there in the god desolate? Qin Yun asked. The space god also said with a worried expression, I also don't know. The god desolate is simply too big. Moreover, over the past 100 years, it must have given birth to many powerful creatures and humans. They usually live in their own regions. That's why it's hard for us to discover them. If they all want to enter the blue sky, then we might be able to see some powerful creatures. If he encountered a very powerful guy, he is also worried that he would be killed. Qin Yun is actually not that afraid because he has a lot of experience in dealing with crisis. The space god sent Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle out. He did not go with Qin Yun and company to the blue sky. Qin Yun continued flying towards the blue sky in the heaven-leaping shuttle according to the Imperial Heaven Diagram's guidance. Xiao Yun, that big brother, didn't go with you because he knows that you are very unrestrained and is afraid of being cheated by you. Xiao Yuelan said with smile. Yuelan, then are you afraid? Qin Yun asked. When it comes to causing trouble, I am not inferior to you. Xiao Yuelan said with charming smile. What's more, there will still be Yume. When Qin Yun thought of Xiao Yume, he could not help but laugh. Yume is the big sister of the 9-sun divine maiden. Back then, she was very good at causing trouble. Although she doesn't have the memories from back then, it is hard for her nature to change. The blue sky is very far away from the 9-sun divine palace. The heaven-leaping shuttle flew for more than 10 days. On the way, it constantly shuttled through space, but it still hasn't seen the blue sky. However, through the Imperial Heaven Diagram's reaction, they know that they are not very far away. This god desolate is truly vast. Just how big is it? Qin Yun said in astonishment. Boundless. The god desolate is expanding at every moment. Xiao Yuelan said. It's already the god desolate. Why is there still outer heaven? Qin Yun is rather puzzled. Outside of myriad realms divine sun, are there other worlds? Mother Moon once said that the growth of myriad realms divine sun is imitating other mature spaces. Xiao Yuelan said, some places have as many as 100 divine sun. 100 divine sun. Qin Yun felt shocked just thinking about it. Mother Moon said so. Although Mother Moon said that she has left, we can still feel her existence. Xiao Yuelan looked at the sky. It is nighttime, and the divine moon of the heavens is hanging in the sky. Just as she was looking at the divine moon of the heavens, she suddenly saw a faint blue illusory figure appear in the air in front of her. Qin Yun also saw it. The blue illusory figure is a huge blue square body floating in the air. Although it is very far away, it looks very big. If one were to approach it, one could imagine. That's the blue sky, Qin Yun said, and then immediately stopped the heaven-leaping shuttle. There must be all sorts of powerful existences gathered in the vicinity of the blue sky. Although Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are very strong, they are not the strongest in this god desolate. They don't even know how strong the strongest are. After the heaven-leaping shuttle stopped, the large white gourd gradually became invisible to avoid being discovered by others. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon came outside and released their powerful mental power to probe the aura released by the blue sky. Just as they were probing with their mental power, the faint blue square, illusory figure suddenly disappeared. Disappeared? Xiao Yuelon exclaimed softly. It didn't disappear. Qin Yun used his heavenly eye and can see an incomparably huge blue square body in front of him. He can see it even more clearly. One of the corners of the blue square body is facing the ground, and it is slowly rotating. Its surface is covered with layers and layers of runes. Those runes are densely packed, complex, and crisscrossing. They look incomparably chaotic, but when the runes flow and change, they are very regular, and it looks very comfortable. Furthermore, there is an indescribable charm within it. Qin Yun only took a glance and knew that this blue sky has an extremely strong barrier, and there must be an incomparably huge space inside. They are all Tao evolution heavenly runes. Qin Yun said, "This blue sky, only when the heavenly runes evolve and flow, will a faint illusory figure appear. The blue light figure that disappeared earlier is now gradually appearing again because those heavenly runes are evolving and changing." Qin Yun estimated that the blue sky is 1,000,000 meters tall, and it is a blue square crystal. That kind of crystal must be extremely sturdy. The inheritance from beyond the heavens is truly kind. Qin Yun can clearly see this incomparably huge blue sky. He only feels that this kind of thing is not something a human can refine. Only someone who can control the natural law power of heaven and earth can refine such a perfect thing. Xiao Yun, Divine Moon Clan's ship, is nearby. Xiao Yuelon pulled Qin Yun and said in low voice, "It is very likely that Divine Moon Clan's king has brought a duke here." Qin Yun took out Xiao Yuemei's soul-chasing talisman and said in pleasant surprise, "Yuemei is also nearby. She is over there." He pointed in a direction. Xiao Yuemei is not too far away from him. Xiao Yuelon pointed in another direction and said, "Divine Moon Clan's ship is over there. How about I go over and investigate? I can use Divine Moon Clan's information to understand the situation of the other strong races." "All right, you go to Divine Moon Clan's ship. I will go find Yuemei." Qin Yun said. "All right, then we will meet again," Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. Xiao Yuelon flew far away in a short while. Ling Yuner giggled and said, "Xiao Yun, Yuelon wants to go to Divine Moon Clan's ship to flirt with beauties. I really want to go with her. Yuner, or my nether sun's Tao spirit. Even if you have spirit body, I can't let you leave me." Qin Yun stored the heaven-leaping shuttle and flew toward Xiao Yuemei. "Why? I also want to go to Divine Moon Clan," Ling Yuna mumbled. "Because I need you. Although I can control Nether Sun's power now, I also need your divine power," Qin Yun said with a smile. "One Xiao Yuelon is enough," adding Ling Yuner. "How can it be? What's more, if you Xiaoling, that sun fairy, wakes up from her slumber, those 3 female rogues will definitely cause great chaos." Daybreak. The blue sky is actually a bit more obvious. It is like the evening moon is floating in the distant sky. When the runes are not flowing, the entire blue sky is still hidden. Qin Yun is flying above a mountain range. Below him are huge trees. He is getting closer and closer to Xiao Yuemei. This little girl, could it be that she doesn't know I am approaching her? If she knew, she should have come over. Qin Yun is very doubtful. He is worried that Xiao Yuemei is in danger. At noon, Qin Yun flew to the top of a tall mountain. The soul-chasing talisman guided him here. After landing at the top of the mountain, Qin Yun walked toward the cave with the soul-chasing talisman in his hand. As he approached the cave, he smelled the aroma of roasted meat. This little girl is eating meat? Chapter 22-26. The cave is very bright. There is a jade table with several plates of roasted meat on it. On the side of the jade table, there is a large roasting oven. A few puppets with golden and dazzling bodies are busy roasting meat. A pretty and cute girl with two long ponytails was eating a large piece of barbecued meat. She wore a light purple dress, which added a bit of luxury and maturity to her. Xiao Yuamei's clear and limpid eyes are filled with vigilance as she looked at Qin Yun. She said with slight frown, "Who are you? Quickly get out. Can't you see that I am eating?" Qin Yun is startled and promptly said, "Yuemei, I am Qin Yun. Don't you remember me?" My memory has some problem. I don't remember you." Xiao Yuemei very earnestly recalled and said, "Do I really know you? Why do you look so unfamiliar?" Seeing that Xiao Yuemei doesn't remember him, an indescribable sadness appeared in Qin Yun's heart. But after carefully thinking about it, he suddenly thought of something. Xiao Yuemei is a very naughty girl. Maybe she is deliberately teasing him. This wretched girl, she is playing this trick on me again. Qin Yun looked at Xiao Yuemei's delicate and adorable face and stared at her eyes. However, Xiao Yuemei is still very vigilant. She promptly got up and retreated. She delicately yelled, "Don't come over. If you come over again, I won't be polite anymore." "Yuemei, I am your brother. Don't you remember me?" Qin Yun said with smile. "Little girl, you want to tease me again? I'm not that easy to be fooled by you. You are my brother? How is this possible? I don't have a brother. I only have sisters." Xiao Yuemei took out a small red scimitar and also a small mirror. Qin Yun sat on the table and wanted to grab the roasted meat. Xiao Yuemei immediately screamed, "Don't touch my roasted meat. Not only do I want to touch it, I also want to eat it." Qin Yun laughed loudly and quickly grabbed the roasted meat and stuffed it into his mouth. He ate a large piece of roasted meat in 2 or 3 bites. After eating, he suddenly felt that something is wrong. His mouth is somewhat numb and spicy. Ah! Xiao Yuemei very angrily said, "You bastard, seriously. That is the sauce I made from the divine tyrant chili that I searched for a long time. A guy like you who is afraid of spicy food, eating my roasted meat, is truly a waste." Qin Yun cursed in a low voice and did not dare to touch the roasted meat again. He recalled that Xiao Yuemei is indeed a woman who can eat spicy food. It can be said that she is not happy without spicy food. She is a spicy and wild girl. "Yuemei, stop messing around." Qin Yun said, "I really don't know you. Quickly leave my cave. One of my elder sisters is about to arrive. When the time comes, she will kill you." Xiao Yuemei said with a threatening expression, "My elder sister is a famous god of slaughter." She was talking about Liyue Shuyan. Qin Yun was not afraid at all. He said with a smile, "All right, I'll leave. I've become the new king of the Nine-Yang Palace. I've gotten a lot of delicious fruits in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. I wanted to give them to you when I saw you. Now, when you remember me, I'll give them to you." Qin Yun turned around and was about to leave. Xiao Yuemei promptly rushed over and yelled, "I remember you. You are my good big brother." She promptly walked over and hugged Qin Yun's hand. She said with charming smile, "Brother, quickly take out those good fruits." Qin Yun pinched her face and scolded with smile, "You are still pretending. You little girl, why do you love to tease me so much?" "I really just remembered you," Xiao Yuemei said with charming smile. "It is also because I saw the incomparably handsome Nine-Yang Palace King that my dormant memories woke up." Qin Yun rubbed Xiao Yuemei's charming face with his hands and said with smile, "Yuemei, I have been in divine desolate for so long, and finally I could see you again. I missed you so much." "I also missed you." Xiao Yuemei promptly hugged Qin Yun and said with annoyed smile, "Brother, quickly take out those fruits. I think you missed my fruits." Qin Yun said with smile and touched her face again. Qin Yun also took out a large pile of divine fruits. He has been collecting them for a long time. Originally, he left them for Momo and others to eat, but they can't eat that much, so he kept a portion. Xiao Yuemei very happily ate those fruits. She knew that Qin Yun would definitely come to find her, so she has been waiting here for a long time. "You knew I was coming. Why didn't you go out to find me?" Qin Yun asked. "I wanted to cook a big meal and wait for you." Xiao Yuemei pushed a plate of meat in front of Qin Yun and said with smile, "This plate is not spicy, don't worry and eat. Qin Yun also began eating and said with smile, your cooking has improved a lot. Xiao Yuanmei said with sweet smile, of course, Sister Yingying is a great chef. She taught me a lot. Xiao Yingying has always been in Guanghan Palace. She is very good at cooking. Therefore, in Xiao Yuanmei's heart, she is a very respectable big sister. Yuanmei, how did you know that Lan Tianyu is here? Qin Yun asked. I followed Divine Moon Clan's ship here. Xiao Yuanmei said with charming smile. I secretly followed them. They didn't even know. She finished speaking and shook her small mirror. Her small mirror has all kinds of ability, martial spirits. Yuanmei, do you think that if we refine world extermination spirit, we will attract heavenly punishment or something? If the risk is too great, then forget it. Qin Yun said. World extermination spirit? Don't worry, there is no risk. Xiao Yuanmei very casually said with smile, if it is inscription spirit, then a very formidable heavenly punishment will descend. It will mainly be lightning punishment. Brother, you want to refine world extermination spirit? Wait until I am full, then we will begin. Xiao Yuanmei said with mischievous smile. Will there really be no problem? Qin Yun is somewhat worried. He is not afraid of it, but he is afraid of implicating Xiao Yuanmei. After all, this is divine desolate. If heavenly punishment or something like that happens, it will surely be very strong. Forget about a trifling world extermination spirit. Even if I refine a formidable inscription spirit, I won't be afraid. Xiao Yuanmei handed over her small mirror to Qin Yun and said with smile, Brother, quickly help me add some runes. Xiao Yuanmei's small mirror also has the ability of Gemini treasure mirror. After receiving it, Qin Yun added many useful runes to it. They are mainly used to refine formidable divine talismans, or during battle. Through her mirror, she can release a set of powerful runes to defend and attack. This small mirror is very important to Xiao Yuanmei, but she very casually handed it over to Qin Yun and then began eating. Xiao Yuanmei is very good at eating. After eating the food in big mouthfuls, she also drank the fragrant and spicy meat soup. After she finished eating, Qin Yun returned the small mirror to her. Let's begin. I will take out the world extermination spirit. Xiao Yuanmei took the small mirror and took out the world extermination spirit. After taking out the world extermination spirit, the small mirror overflowed with very weak destruction power. Qin Yun promptly took out a small blue cauldron with wings. It is the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. After the spirit creation heavenly cauldron appeared, Qin Yun immediately released formidable blood spirit power and poured it into Xiao Yuanmei's small mirror. Before, he needed a very powerful soul body to cooperate, but now his blood spirit power is very strong. He can directly use Xiao Yuanmei's small mirror to condense a thread of world extermination spirit. After condensing the thread of world extermination spirit, Qin Yun opened the cauldron and placed it into the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. Xiao Yuanmei is still using the small mirror to look inside the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. Qin Yun's blood spirit power is also unceasingly pouring into the small mirror and releasing even more world extermination spirit threads. Brother, your cauldron is very awesome. Xiao Yuanmei can sense that Qin Yun's cauldron has a very strong soul body. Of course, with this thing, I can refine souls even faster. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Spirit creation heavenly cauldron is also frantically absorbing Qin Yun's blood spirit power. To refine even stronger world extermination spirit, Qin Yun released Divine Universe Purple Energy from Divine Universe Purple Sun through the Nine Sun Divine Soul and poured it into the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron. Not long after, the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron began trembling. Qin Yun promptly closed the lid and said with smile, All right, now you don't need to use your small mirror anymore. So fast. Xiao Yuanmei exclaimed in admiration. Qin Yun pinched her cheeks and said with smile, Yuanmei, how strong are you now? Can you defeat the marquises of those powerful races? I have never fought before, so I don't know, but it shouldn't be a problem. Xiao Yuamei's charming little face is filled with bitterness as she said, I have been running around all over the place to complete that damned mission. I have obtained divine power from myriad realms' divine sun and myriad heavens' divine moon. I have become a lot stronger. Is that so? Qin Yun is pouring energy into the spirit creation heavenly cauldron while probing Xiao Yuamei's body. He placed his hand on Xiao Yuamei's abdomen and probed for a while. He discovered that Xiao Yuamei's divine power is very special. He is unable to determine its strength. This is sun and moon divine power. It is very awesome, Xiao Yuamei said with charming smile. Brother, among the 9 sun divine maidens, I am the big sister. I am also the strongest. Do you believe me? I don't believe you. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Xiao Yuamei is a very arrogant girl. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Xiao Yuamei stuck out her fragrant tongue and said with smile, Oh, that's right. How is my inscription gate? How are they doing without me, the big sister? Inscription gate should be near 9 sun divine palace soon. Qin Yun said, Yuamei, have you been to the inscription divine mountain these past few years? I went there once, but it was several decades ago. They must have become very strong now. Xiao Yuamei said with smile, Brother, don't worry. With me as the core, Inscription Gate will be very strong. Qin Yun suddenly feels that the sect master of Inscription Gate has nothing to do with him anymore. The spirit creation heavenly cauldron trembled unceasingly. It can be seen that the world extermination spirit inside is very irritable. Aya, this world extermination spirit is very awesome. Xiao Yumei's small mirror can sense how powerful the spirit body is. She yelled in alarm, Brother, how did you refine it? How can the spirit body you refine be so strong? Very strong, Qin Yun said with frown. I think it is very normal. Chapter 22-27. Qin Yun truly believes that refining a world extermination spirit will not have any heavenly tribulation. Xiao Yuanmei also said before that there is no risk. But now, she said that she was going to cross the tribulation. Yuanmei, didn't you say that there is no risk? Qin Yun looked at the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. The world extermination spirit has not been refined yet. That's right, it's just crossing tribulation. It shouldn't be that difficult, right? Xiao Yuanmei felt that it was nothing and said with a casual smile, How is it not difficult? This is heavenly God desolate. If we encounter heavenly punishment in this kind of place, if the lightning tribulation descends, it will be very strong. Qin Yun suddenly became somewhat nervous. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile, Brother, what are you afraid of? We can definitely get through it. It's just a minor lightning tribulation. What's there to be afraid of? Qin Yun pinched her face and said unhappily, Yuanmei, this is near the blue sky. It's not good to make too much noise. Furthermore, the deity Desolate's lightning tribulation is definitely not a trivial matter. Since it's coming, it's useless to say anything now. Xiao Yuanmei took out her small mirror and said with smile, Face it calmly. Don't be afraid. Let this big sister go out and bear the lightning. This little lightning is nothing to this big sister. Sit down, let me go. Qin Yun grunted. Xiao Yuanmei did not listen to Qin Yun at all. She eagerly ran out. Qin Yun wanted to chase after it, but he discovered that the world extermination spirit inside the soul creation heavenly cauldron has become even more berserk. Xiao Yun, it might be because of the divine universe purple sun's energy. That's why the world extermination spirit is so strong. Ling Yun excitedly said, This is very good. Why don't you put the world extermination soul into the divine universe, purple sun, after you're done refining it? Let's talk about it after I refine it. Qin Yun can't leave because he has to suppress the world extermination spirit. Although the soul creation heavenly cauldron is powerful, it can't suppress the world annihilation soul. If Qin Yun doesn't use all his strength to suppress it, all his efforts will be in vain. The world destroyer soul would escape directly. If it escaped, it would not be able to block the heavenly punishment and would definitely be destroyed. Qin Yun doesn't know what's happening outside. He hasn't sensed the world annihilation soul's heavenly punishment yet. Strange. Why don't I feel the pressure of the thunder tribulation? Is Yueme teasing me? Qin Yun was puzzled. Just as he was feeling puzzled, a deafening explosion suddenly came from outside. The sound wave penetrated downwards, causing the entire mountain to tremble. Damn it, it really is the thunder tribulation. Qin Yun hurriedly hugged the soul creation heavenly cauldron because the cave he was in had already cracked and could collapse at any moment. An incomparably terrifying pressure of thunder and lightning came along with the shockwave. Qin Yun carried the soul creation heavenly cauldron, and just as he ran out, the mountain collapsed. Thick clouds covered the sky, and purple lightning flashed continuously. From time to time, a huge purple lightning would strike down. Xiao Yueme took out her small mirror, faced the incoming lightning bolt, and slapped it back. Seeing this, Qin Yun is secretly shocked in his heart. Xiao Yueme is indeed very strong. Such a powerful purple lightning bolt was actually deflected to another direction by her mirror. Brother, don't be afraid. I can block it. Xiao Yueme looked at the sky. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the jet-black dense cloud in the sky. He sensed that there is a purple energy condensing inside. The purple energy shot out lightning, which transformed into runes and formed a great formation. Moreover, it is a great formation formed by heavenly rune. Thunder heavenly rune. Qin Yun is amazed in his heart. He can only see the surface of it. But looking at the naturally formed, formidable thunder heavenly rune, he can roughly understand how the thunder tribulation is formed. Purple energy, it should be the divine universe, purple energy? Could it be that the operation of this heaven's law is maintained by the divine universe, purple energy? Boom! Another incomparably huge, violent lightning bolt struck down. Xiao Yueme is still using her mirror to block. She looks very relaxed, but Qin Yun knows that after a few more strikes, her mirror will not be able to block and might even crack. Yueme retreat. Qin Yun suddenly shouted, then rushed over and released Sun Heavenly Shield. The purple lightning bolt landed on the Sun Heavenly Shield. Qin Yun's arm immediately became numb. He can feel how dreadful the tribulation lightning is. Brother, I can do it, Xiao Yueme angrily said. Qin Yun held spirit, creating heavenly cauldron with one hand, and released Sun Heavenly Shield with the other. He said in deep voice, Yueme, this thunder tribulation will only become stronger and stronger. Just now, I saw the composition of the thunder tribulation. There are at least 30 more lightning strikes. He made this judgment based on the divine universe, purple energy. How come there are so many? I thought there would only be 10. Xiao Yueme's beautiful face changed color. She said in amazement. Qin Yun handed over spirit, creating heavenly cauldron to her, and said, Your mirror can block at most 10 more. Leave the rest to me. Xiao Yueme tightly hugged the trembling spirit, creating heavenly cauldron, not letting the world extermination spirit come out. Qin Yun took out myriad heaven divine saber and suddenly rushed towards the sky. He wants to end this quickly because people from powerful races will arrive very soon. They have not entered the blue heavenly cosmos yet. They are waiting for the blue heavenly cosmos to open. The commotion here is very big. It will surely attract them over. Boom! While Qin Yun is rushing towards the sky, another violent lightning bolt fell down. Qin Yun used Sun Heavenly Shield to block it. Now he has already rushed into the pitch-black clouds. Break for me! Qin Yun slashed at the incomparably huge divine cosmos purple gas. Blue heavenly blood crazily roared out from his body. Heavenly might tyrant body trembled. 9 meridians divine power indifferently rushed out along with the saber. Incomparably ferocious heavenly might transformed in a saber wind and chopped towards the divine universe purple energy. Heavenly extermination 9 style. Heavenly berserk. This incomparably tyrannical saber energy contains heavenly might that is on par with heavenly thunder. Even Xiao Yueme, who is below, feels very dreadful. Rumble. Qin Yun's saber slashed and directly destroyed the divine universe purple energy, destroying the heavenly thunder's energy source. Hoo in the sky. The divine universe purple energy whistled and exploded, madly attacking in all directions, giving rise to incomparably large gale. Those people who are rushing over are now unable to move forward. Qin Yun arrived beside Xiao Yuemei with void step, grabbed her waist with one hand, and quickly left this place with her. The spirit creating heavenly cauldron in Xiao Yuemei's embrace also gradually calmed down. Not long after, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei left this place and arrived at a secluded mountain forest. Xiao Yuemei returned the spirit creating heavenly cauldron to Qin Yun and said with smile, "Brother, you are so awesome. You directly destroyed the heavenly tribulation. Why didn't you tell me earlier that there would be such a strong heavenly tribulation? If you did, I would have also prepared for it." Qin Yun pinched Xiao Yuemei's exquisite nose and said with smile. Xiao Yuemei stroked her ponytail hair and said with charming smile, "Brother, you are so awesome. What are you afraid of?" "How am I afraid? I'm just worried that there will be trouble." Qin Yun patted the spirit creating heavenly cauldron and said with smile, "This world extermination spirit is truly not simple. I wonder what kind of effect it will have. Let's give it a try, and we will know." Xiao Yuemei said with smile. Qin Yun took out the world extermination spirit. It looks like a black and red flame intertwining together, is filled with suffocating destruction power. Qin Yun placed the world extermination spirit into his nether sun and let it absorb it. He did not place it into his divine cosmos purple sun because he is worried that it will absorb it. "Brother, now that you have the world extermination spirit, will you be able to use 9 sun world extermination scripture smoothly?" Qin Yun's body began to shrink. Very quickly, he turned into a 3 or 4-year-old child. "Big brother, little guy." Xiao Yuemei laughed loudly, then pinched Qin Yun's pink and chubby little face. "Aren't you making me too small? Quickly turn me into a 10-year-old. Hurry up." Qin Yun urged and yelled. Xiao Yuemei was just about to cast a spell when several formidable auras arrived. Chapter 22-28. Qin Yun turned into a tiny dot and was held in Xiao Yuemei's embrace. He stood on a branch of a huge tree, hidden in the dense foliage. He struggled slightly, trying to break free from Xiao Yuemei's embrace. He is a Grand 9 Sun Palace King. Being hugged by a little girl is not comfortable at all. "Wretched girl, quickly change me back to my original appearance," Qin Yun said with sound transmission. "It's not convenient for me to hold a saber like this." Xiao Yuemei rubbed Qin Yun's little face a few times and then placed him on a branch. She made him grow a lot bigger, turning him into a 12 or 13-year-old youth. Even though he has turned into a youth, Xiao Yuemei still pinched his face. Qin Yun is speechless as he slapped away Xiao Yuemei's hand and said with sound transmission, "Yuemei, those guys are nearby. Take a look at where they are. Let's go take a look." Xiao Yuemei looked at her small mirror and discovered that there are many light dots gathered together. Her small mirror can sense the location of nearby spirit bodies. "Over there." Xiao Yuemei pointed in a direction. Qin Yun immediately brought Xiao Yuemei to conceal themselves, then gently landed on the ground and went over from underground. Just now, there were many auras coming towards them, but they did not come over. Instead, they stopped not far away. "They shouldn't be coming for us," Xiao Yuemei said with sound transmission. "Brother, do you think the 3 races are together to discuss something? Divine Moon Race, Divine Sun Race, and 9 Sun Heavenly Race are all strong races. If they want to secretly join forces, it is normal. This can prevent them from entering Blue Heavenly Universe and being ambushed by other strong races. I don't know. I feel that they must have secretly joined forces a long time ago." Qin Yun said, "Let's go and eavesdrop on them." Qin Yun brought Xiao Yuemei and walked underground for a while. Then, he passed through the roots of a large tree and entered the inside of the tree. Qin Yun controlled the divine tree totem. He can easily enter the tree and see the situation outside from inside. Xiao Yuanmei has tree martial spirit. She can also see. They are at the top of a huge tree and looking down at the flat ground. There are more than 10 people there. There are 3 divine moon race women. They're all wearing white clothes. Their bodies are graceful and their faces are covered with white veils. The divine yang race members were all dressed in golden armor. There were a total of 4 of them, an elder and 3 youths. The 9 Sons heavenly clan had the most people. There were 5 of them, 2 elders and 3 youths. They gathered here, holding a compass-like device in their hands, which could detect something. Just now, we clearly sensed that there were people here. A lady from the Divine Moon tribe said doubtfully. We also sensed that there were people here. However, they suddenly disappeared. Could it be that they discovered us? The elder from the 9 Sons heavenly clan said. That was the breaking sun sky lightning tribulation just now. Who could trigger such a powerful lightning tribulation? The divine yang race elder's expression was serious. Could something have escaped from the blue sky? Qin Yun and Xiao Yuanmei looked at each other inside the tree. The great tribulation triggered by the world extermination spirit has indeed alarmed many people. The elder from the 9 Sons heavenly race suddenly took out 3 talismans and said, "Let me take a closer look. There must be more people nearby." The 3 talismans suddenly floated up. Golden light flickered and rippled. The light rippled in all directions at an extremely fast speed. Not long after, the 3 talismans suddenly flew towards the tree where Qin Yun and Xiao Yuanmei are. We have been discovered. Xiao Yuanmei immediately sent voice transmission to Qin Yun. Brother, we will deceive them. You come, I will cooperate with you. Qin Yun said. Xiao Yuanmei immediately brought Qin Yun out. Seeing that there are really people nearby, the 3 powerful races immediately became vigilant and prepared to fight at any time. However, they soon saw that there were people. The people who appeared were a lovely woman and a young boy who looked about 12 or 13 years old. Qin Yun has turned into a young boy. His appearance is handsome and his skin is white. He looks like a kid who is still wet behind the ears. Xiao Yuanmei also looks like a very pure and innocent girl. She does not look like an evil person at all. When the Divine Moon Race woman saw Xiao Yuanmei, she felt that she looks somewhat familiar. She even sensed a trace of special aura. 9 Sun Divine Lady? The Divine Yang Race Elder said in shock. These powerful races can actually recognize that Xiao Yuanmei is the 9 Sun Divine Lady. This caused Qin Yun to be very surprised. Xiao Yuanmei's appearance is very beautiful and charming, but now she is very imposing. She said, I am from the Heavenly Moon Snow Palace. I am the Supreme Heavenly Moon Divine Lady. This is my little disciple. Her name is Xiao Mao. My purpose for coming here is the same as everyone else. I was attracted here by the Great Tribulation just now. Heavenly Moon Snow Palace? Heavenly Moon Divine Lady? The Divine Moon Race woman looked at Xiao Yuanmei with frown. The other 2 powerful race elders also looked at each other in dismay, because they have never heard of this Heavenly Moon Snow Palace. Of course, they have never heard of it, because Xiao Yuanmei made it up. Qin Yun is very unhappy. He does not like the name Xiao Mao. He immediately sent voice transmission to Xiao Yuanmei to express his dissatisfaction. You are the 9 Sun Divine Lady? The Divine Moon Race woman asked. Indeed, I am the big sister of the 9 Sun Divine Lady. Xiao Yuanmei replied. This is not a lie. Heavenly Moon Snow Palace? Is this a sect? How come we have never heard of it? The 9 Sun Heavenly Race Elder has a doubtful expression. Heavenly Moon Snow Palace is the strongest sect in the Heavenly Moon Divine Realm, and the Heavenly Moon Divine Realm is located above the 9 heavens. It is normal that you have never heard of it. Xiao Yuanmei said, Heavenly Moon Divine Realm? What is this place? The Divine Moon Race woman is very interested because they feel that this might be related to the Divine Moon Race. It is the strongest realm above the 9 heavens, and this seat is also the strongest expert of the Heavenly Moon Divine Realm. What you are seeing is only 10% of this seat's strength. Xiao Yuanmei said with a confident expression. Qin Yun really did not expect that Xiao Yuanmei would not know how to restrain herself at all. Even if she is making things up, there must be a limit. People from powerful races have never heard of the heavenly moon divine realm, let alone the heavenly moon snow palace. Xiao Yuanmei looked at the divine moon race woman and said, "This seat can see from your aura that you are from the divine moon race." This seat also heard that the mortal heaven's divine moon race has some relationship with our heavenly moon divine realm. What kind of relationship? The divine moon race woman's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of surprise and curiosity as she promptly asked, "It is a long story. The origin of the divine moon race and the heavenly moon divine realm can be considered a branch of the heavenly moon divine realm." Xiao Yuanmei replied with the attitude and tone of an expert. If it was someone else, these people from 3 powerful races would definitely think that Xiao Yuanmei is making things up. However, Xiao Yuanmei is the 9th-son divine maiden, so they believe half of it. The divine son race old man asked, "Then what do you think about the Great Tribulation just now?" The Great Tribulation just now should have been caused by the birth of a heaven-defying strong spirit. The sun-breaking heavenly lightning tribulation mainly targets powerful spirit bodies. Xiao Yuanmei said indifferently, "If this seat is not wrong, that strong spirit was born because of the influence of the blue dragon heavenly universe. Senior, will that strong spirit be a threat to us?" The divine moon race woman asked softly. Her attitude also became somewhat humble. Yes, if it was an evil spirit, it would definitely be very strong. But to this seat, it is nothing, Xiao Yuanmei said. At this moment, another powerful aura surged forth. It is the aura of the divine star race. There are 2 people from the divine star race, an old man and a young man. Their expression is filled with arrogance. After they arrived, they swept their eyes over everyone without the slightest scruple. That kind of expression is very rude. "Who are you 2? The divine star race old man looked at Qin Yun and Xiao Yuanmei. "What does it have to do with you who we are?" Xiao Yuanmei said with sneer. Soon after, the 9th-son heavenly race introduced Xiao Yuanmei's identity to the divine star race. The 2 people from the divine star race can vaguely see that Xiao Yuanmei is the 9th-son divine maiden, but they did not expect her to be some heavenly moon snow palace's heavenly moon divine concubine, and even come from some heavenly moon divine world. What bullshit heavenly moon divine world? I don't believe this kind of nonsense. A strong spirit was born here. It is a strong spirit born from heaven and earth. I can sense that it is here. The old man stared at Qin Yun. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. This divine star race old man can actually sense that the world extermination spirit is inside his body. Xiao Yuanmei's expression became cold. She took out her small mirror and said in deep voice, "This is my disciple Xiao Mao. This is his first time coming to mortal heaven. He has never provoked anyone. What do you want to do to him?" I can sense that the strong spirit is inside his body. The divine star race old man said with sneer, "That strong spirit was born from heaven and earth. It is very likely to be a star spirit. It should belong to our divine star race." The young man looked at Xiao Yuanmei and said with sneer, "It is true that you are the 9th-son divine maiden, but you are just a little girl. What heavenly moon divine concubine? What heavenly moon divine world's strongest expert? This is simply bullshit. Are you trying to fool a child? Shut your dog mouth." Xiao Yuanmei's small mirror flickered with multicolored light and covered that young man's mouth. That young man's mouth suddenly turned into a dog's mouth. Moreover, it is a toothless mouth. Seeing this scene, everyone is greatly shocked. Casually turning someone's mouth into a dog's mouth. This kind of technique is indeed very strong. The divine star race old man jumped in fright. He promptly released a barrier to defend himself. He is worried that he will also be turned into a ghostly thing. "Grandfather, I. That young man's appearance is very handsome, but now his black dog mouth has become very unsightly. He is both angry and terrified. Divine moon race, divine sun race, and 9-son heavenly race people now believe that heavenly moon divine concubine is truly formidable. They are also secretly shocked that the strong spirit is actually inside that young man's body. Chapter 22-29. The Divine Star Old Man's face is filled with anger. He released a very strong barrier and glared at Xiao Yueme with eyes filled with malice. It seems like he is ready to attack at any moment. She is Nine-Sun Divine Maiden. If you attack, you must consider the consequences, the Divine Moon Woman said. Everyone is very clear about the consequences of attacking Nine-Sun Divine Maiden. Up until now, all those who attacked Nine-Sun Divine Maiden have been severely punished. If someone from an ancient race attacked Nine-Sun Divine Maiden, the consequences would be even more severe. "Grandpa, what about me?" the Divine Star Youth screamed miserably. Everyone wanted to laugh when they saw this, but they didn't. They are also very afraid in their hearts, because just a casual look from Xiao Yueme's small mirror can make people grow a dog's mouth. This caused everyone present to want to protect their own mouths. They are afraid that Xiao Yueme will act recklessly and turn them into dogs' mouths. The Divine Star Old Man naturally knows that attacking Nine-Sun Divine Maiden will be very troublesome. However, he is also a ruthless person. He does not want to let this matter rest. A powerful divine power burst forth. The old man from the Divine Star race had made his move. It must be said that this Divine Star Old Man's strength is also very formidable. His body suddenly moved and arrived behind Xiao Yueme in a flash. Then he took out a very large pouch and quickly covered Qinyan. After the Divine Star Old Man covered Qinyan, he quickly sealed the pouch and said with sneer, "Little girl, quickly heal my grandson, otherwise that brat is dead for sure." Xiao Yueme immediately became furious. She wanted to attack, but she saw the pouch suddenly inflate. The Divine Star Old Man laughed loudly and said, "How can this little brat open my divine sealing pouch? Don't struggle, just obediently stay in there." Just as he finished speaking, a loud explosion occurred. The divine sealing pouch exploded. After Qinyan jumped out, he quickly sent a palm attack towards the Divine Star Old Man's back. Qinyan condensed a set of formidable runes and poured them into the old man's body through his palm. The Divine Star Old Man's expression greatly changed because he sensed an incomparably formidable and berserk divine power suddenly drilling into his body, causing him to be unable to move. This is Qinyan's body securing rune. Yueme, kill him. Qinyan suddenly moved to the side and sent sound transmission to Xiao Yueme. Xiao Yueme already wanted to take action. After she jumped over, she pointed the mirror in her hand at the old man and turned him into a bat. Then she released a fire. The bat was instantly ignited and burned to ashes. A sacred god of the Divine Star race had died, just like that. The process didn't look very intense, but it was extremely frightening. This was because the old man had first turned into a bat before being burned to ashes. "Grandpa!" the young man with the dog mouth cried out in fear. "Go accompany him." Xiao Yueme pointed her mirror at the youth and turned him into a flying insect. Then, the mirror spewed out flames and set the flying insect on fire. The flying insect was too small and was burned into nothingness in an instant. This move made the scalps of the people from the other 3 powerful clans go numb. Qinyan is also secretly astonished. A long time ago, Xiao Yueme's transformation technique required that person to cooperate with her and not be able to resist her power. But now, she can change people as she wishes. Qinyan was turned into a fart-sized child by her earlier. He couldn't resist, even if he wanted to. Xiao Yueme delicately groaned, looked at the people from the other 3 powerful clans, and said, "You all saw it just now. This is the result of being my enemy. Just now, we didn't see anything." An old man from the Divine Sun race said with a calm expression, "Senior, do you want to go to our Divine Moon race's large ship?" A woman from the Divine Moon race asked respectfully, "No need. I still have important matters to attend to. Just send my regards to Divine Moon Clan's Dijia." Back then, when she was still a little girl, I met her once and even gave her pointers. It can be said that we met once by fate, Xiao Yueme said coldly. This caused the women from the Divine Moon race to be extremely shocked. When their clan emperor was a little girl, she actually received pointers from this heavenly moon divine concubine. Even the people from the Divine Sun race and the nine-sun heavenly race felt an indescribable pressure. They found it hard to believe that the little girl in front of them is a powerful race's clan emperor. However, when they thought about how she casually turned people into flying insects and bats, they had no choice but to believe it. Divine Sun Race. Nine-sun heavenly race, right? You don't know about me, but your clan emperor definitely knows. Go back and send my regards to them. Xiao Yuanmei said again. The people from the Divine Sun Race and the Nine-sun heavenly race respectfully nodded their heads. Xiao Mao, let's go. Xiao Yuanmei pulled Qin Yun's hand. Qin Yun used transcending void step and directly pierced through space to leave. And the people from the other three powerful races all believe that this is Xiao Yuanmei's ability. Directly piercing through space to leave Divine Desolate is a very powerful ability, because Divine Desolate is still growing and constantly developing space. Space laws are constantly changing. There are very few people who can control space laws. Even if they can, it would be very difficult to pierce through space and leave at any time. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuanmei left that place and entered a cave. Yuanmei, do you think they will really tell their clan emperor? If they go back and tell, you will be exposed. Qin Yun said with smile. Brother, Heavenly Moon Divine World, Heavenly Moon Snow Palace, Heavenly Moon Divine Concubine, this is not something I made up, it really exists. Xiao Yuanmei said with charming smile. Qin Yun caressed her face and said with smile, Little girl, back then you followed me to swindle people. Your cultivation is too shallow. Don't think of swindling me. This seat is truly Heavenly Moon Divine Concubine, the #1 expert of Heavenly Moon Divine World, a female expert whose name shakes the 9 heavens. Xiao Yuanmei crossed her arms in front of her chest and put on a very cool and imposing appearance. This delicate and charming Xiao Yuanmei caused Qin Yun to be unable to restrain his laughter. He can't help but extend his hands to rub her face. Little brat, I also want to pinch you. Xiao Yuanmei giggled and rubbed Qin Yun's face. The two of them played around like this, making Qin Yun feel as if he has returned to his childhood. After Qin Yun turned into a young boy, he is shorter than Xiao Yuanmei by a head. His appearance is also very handsome. Moreover, his face is very young and immature, very different from when he was an adult. However, people who are familiar with him can still recognize him from his expression. Qin Yun looked at the mirror and said with smile, Yuanmei, your transformation technique is becoming more and more awesome. Brother, the transformation technique I used on you is the time reversal transformation technique. I can't just randomly use it. Xiao Yuanmei said, Is it time manipulation? Qin Yun said in amazement. My current time manipulation technique can only be reversed. My future prediction time is not very long, only about 1 or 2 breaths. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Then what other transformation technique do you have? Qin Yun asked. I can change into something I have seen before. Xiao Yuanmei said. Then can you change into other people? Qin Yun curiously asked. I can change, but the transformation is not very good. Who do you want me to change into? I will give it a try. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Let me think. Qin Yun thought for a bit and said with smile. Change into Meng Shu. Xiao Yuanmei laughed loudly. White light suddenly appeared on her body, and in the blink of an eye, she changed into Hong Mengshu's appearance. Although Hong Mengshu is petite and exquisite, she has a kind of cold and arrogant aura around her. Her beautiful oval face is very beautiful and moving. Xiao Yuanmei is very similar to Hong Mengshu because she is very familiar with her. Qin Yun pinched her face and said with smile, Your face is also different. It is not as good as yours. Quickly change back. Of course, my face is the best to pinch. Xiao Yuanmei said with charming smile. Xiao Yuanmei very quickly changed back to her original appearance. Qin Yun secretly sensed the situation of the world extermination spirit. The fusion has not been successful. This time the world extermination spirit is very strong. It will take some time to completely fuse with it. Brother, I can sense that you have mastered a lot of inscription spirits. Do you think I can record them in my mirror? Xiao Yuanmei said while holding the mirror. How about we give it a try? Qin said. All right. Xiao Yueme pointed the mirror at Qin head and began recording. Very soon, she recorded the Sun Emperor inscription spirit. However, it is only the Sun Emperor inscription spirit. She has not recorded the Heavenly Venerable inscription spirit. It should be because her current strength is not enough to record the Heavenly Venerable inscription spirit. Having the Sun Emperor inscription spirit is already very good, Qin said with smile. Does this mean that we can refine a Sun Emperor inscription spirit? Then let's give it a try. Xiao Yueme is already very restless, she said with smile. Sun Emperor inscription spirit is very rare. If we can refine it, it will be very expensive and can be exchanged for a lot of delicious food. Qin patted her head and said with smile, Sun Emperor inscription spirit can only be exchanged for food? Xiao Mao, you are my disciple. You are not allowed to touch Master's head. Xiao Yueme suddenly said very earnestly. I also want to touch your face, Qin said with smile. Xiao Yueme and Qin began playing around again. After the two of them played enough, Xiao Yueme said seriously, Brother, let's start refining the Sun Emperor inscription spirit. This is a good thing. No, if we refine this thing, there might be even stronger heavenly tribulation that will descend and destroy us and the Sun Emperor inscription spirit. Qin said solemnly, We can't refine it now. All right, Xiao Yueme smiled and said, Then let's try it later. They were chatting in the cave when they suddenly felt a faint tremor. What's the situation? Qin quickly walked out of the cave. There's a blue light shining down from the sky. That blue light is coming from the blue sky. Could it be that the entrance to the blue sky has opened? Xiao Yueme shouted in alarm. Qin pulled Xiao Yueme and flew high up in the sky. The gigantic blue sky originally had a corner facing the ground, but at this moment, this cube was hovering in the air, facing the ground, releasing a dazzling blue light. It's really opened? Qin said with a frown. Just as he was about to go over, a dragon roar came out, and a huge blue dragon flew out from the direction of the blue light. That dragon is very powerful. Its body spewed out waves of powerful divine power, forming a blue gale that blew in all directions. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.